and welcome everyone.
Oh, I do know you.
My old friends. Yep, that's right.
Welcome. First thing on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes of February 19th.
So moved to approve.
Thank you, Scott.
Second.
Thank you, Mo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. The second thing is to accept the meeting minutes of March 12th for review.
I'll move that.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Second.
Thanks, Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. I don't know, do we have the Board of Health here?
Yes.
Don't recognize them
Come
anymore.
on down.
Where would you like me to
Right there, it's fine, you pull up a chair.
stand or sit?
No,
No,
please
please
pull
go
up
for
a
a
chair,
chair.
please.
There you go.
Thank you. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
Good evening, Robert Casper, health agent for the town of West Bridgewater.
Thank you, welcome. We kind of started. Okay, do you want to walk us through?
Which budget are we discussing?
I think we're doing wastewater treatment facilities first, please.
Sounds good. So in the wastewater treatment facility, so the facility's been online for almost 17 full years, and we're having a few issues. So that's why I'm seeking some additional funds in certain lines to help cover some additional costs. So we had a couple issues we had an issue in January, and we had two issues in early February where the tanks had to be drawn down so we could get inside, we could camera inside and see exactly what the issues were. They were stemming from the police and fire building with the lines that run from the tanks underground by the pickleball courts and over to the septic tank and pump chamber. So in light of that, we requested in the equipment repairs and maintenance, we're requesting $11,000. Right now we have $7,000. The pumping alone is going up 2 pennies per gallon. Last year we pumped out about 42,000 gallons of effluent from the Snack Bar, Spring Street School, Howard School, Roselle School, High School, and Town Hall. And that alone was just about the 7,000. Now, if that goes up 2 pennies a gallon, we're over 7,000. Plus, we're going to have to pump out the pump chamber. That's 17,000 gallons. And at 16.9 cents a gallon, that's almost $3,000. So the pumping alone is going to be almost $10,000. That's why I'm requesting $11,000, just in case we have any emergency situations, sort of like we did just a couple of months ago. It costs an extra $1,200 to have the tanks pumped down so we can camera in there and find out exactly what the problems were. So that line item, we are requesting $11,000. The equipment replacement, right now we're at $3,900. We're requesting $75,000. We're operating on one pump right now. That one pump will be replaced in the next week or two. That cost, I got an estimate, and that will eat up my entire money that I have left in my fiscal year 2026 line. So we're going to be replacing the pump. We're replacing the one pump now, wait till next fiscal year, replace the second pump at around $4,000. So I'm requesting $7,500 just so I have a little wiggle room in case we have issues like we had this fiscal year. Again, the system is almost 17 years old, and these pumps are original, almost 17 years old. So it's not a temporary fix. It should be somewhat of a permanent fix. So we really haven't requested much money in that wastewater treatment facility budget since it's been established.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Any reason why we wouldn't want to do that as a capital budget?
No, it's
Just not enough. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
No? Okay. Can we go to the Board of Health one?
So the Board of Health budget, in line 5110, the elected officials, the chairman had asked to put a 3% increase in that line item. Unfortunately, the chairman's not here. He sends his apologies. He's stuck in either Central or Western Mass on a job. And the health agent perk test line 5119, we're requesting a 3% increase, contractual is really what it is. That's the only lines that we're requesting increases in for fiscal year 2027.
Okay, any questions on this one?
I do have a question on the spending, on what you've spent year to date. Do you
Mhm.
think you're gonna have any extra funds left over?
Yes.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
We've had extra funds. I've been here for 22 years, and we've had extra funds just about every single fiscal year. We've given money back to the town.
Write that down.
Well, that's the truth. You can look it up. That's the truth.
Give 'em a bonus.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Nice to see you all.
Community preservation. How are you?
Cheryl.
Nice to see you. Well, hopefully everybody's received my memo. We have 2 projects going to town meeting for voting, and one is the continuation of the veterans group to do the research and put the plaques on the cemetery graves that they identify through their research. They've asked for 5,000, and the town clerk is going to continue with the historic records preservation, and she's asked for 10,000. And both of those were voted unanimously by the CPC to present to town meeting.
Okay. And no other requests?
No, that was it. That was it.
And you have, is this what you have in the funds right now?
Give or take,
Yeah, so it's an estimate number, from my conversations with Kathy, because there's always stuff coming in, going out.
Yeah.
She can never give like an exact number. So this is an estimate, for the total, and an estimate for what's available for each bucket
Okay,
for spending.
okay. Any questions on this?
Is it fair to say we're always looking for suggestions?
Yeah, and I'm hoping to touch base with the DPW, because a lot of the projects came from there.
Yeah.
And I know that Chris had talked to them, so hopefully in the future, now that they're kind of settled, the new guys settled in, maybe,
Sure.
because I know there's the fish ladder, and I know that War Memorial is, sometimes has issues, and they're both eligible for CPA funding, so.
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
I think the Southeast region, you're next.
It's totally up to you. They have a paper copy, so Okay. what are you more comfortable
If you
with?
have a paper copy, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll scooch up here. Sorry, we can get close, we're good.
Well, welcome.
Well, thank you for having us.
Of
I'm-
course. If you don't mind introducing yourselves,
Of
please.
course. I'm Holly McClannon. I'm the superintendent at Southeastern Regional School District.
Mark Morris, Assistant Superintendent of Finance at Southeastern Regional.
So thank you for having us. It's always our pleasure to present our budget to West Bridgewater. We thank the town so much for your partnership and your support of our schools over more than 50 years now. And we're very proud of our partnership with you. I want to specifically thank Dave for his engagement with our school. He's always at events that we have planned. We had a municipal meeting earlier to talk about the lottery and our concerns about how that could affect cities and towns financially. Dave was there asking great questions, and it matters to us that we have that level of engagement from the town. So we're very, very grateful for that. So we have a presentation. We're going to go over the budget for FY27. We're going to talk about enrollment in both in terms of trends. We'll talk about how the lottery has affected enrollment for West Bridgewater in particular. Talk a little bit about some modest growth that we see in enrollment over the next few years, and then we'll take any questions that you have. So I'll have Mark kick it off for us.
So on the first page of our presentation, you'll see our FY27 budget. It's made up of 3 buckets. The first bucket being our foundation budget, which is $40,966,418, and that comes from state aid and local assessments. So state aid being 26,183,132, and the local assessments at 14,783,286. The next bucket, as you can see, there's a transportation of students, so it's regional transportation. So our contract for the FY27 school year will be $2,405,700. We used the exact amount that we received in the prior year from state aid, so that's $1,613,160, leaving a local assessments of $792,540. And this is why I always kind of caution you and let you know that regional transportation is supposed to be reimbursed at 100% by the state.
They don't.
So when you do see your legislators, your congressmen, your reps, let them know that it's important to you, because not only you and the other towns, if that was funded at 100%, that local assessment would be zero if they funded that. And then lastly, we have other expenditures. So if you recall, roughly 13 years now, roughly 14 years, we had our MSBA project. So that's at $305,875. The assessment to that is $192,000, and that's been the same over at least the last 15 to 20 years. We haven't changed that amount, and we haven't increased it at all to the communities. And the difference comes from our excess and deficiency account of $113,875. And our excess and deficiency is somewhat what the town has as a rainy day fund. That's our fund there. So that gives us a total budget of $43,677,993, and then outside of that, by Chapter 40 S13, we keep our ESCO payment of $493,250 outside our general budget, and that's in local assessments at that amount, $493,250. And we also fund our OPEB reserve account for FY27 at $50,000 coming from our excess and deficiency account. So that makes up our FY27 budget, which is 5.6% higher than the FY.
What does OPEB mean?
It's the
Operating.
other,
It's
Other-
other
other
benefits,
most
yeah.
Okay, all
And
right.
it's retiree health insurance.
It's a
basically.
retiree.
Okay.
And we've
Yeah.
funded, you'll see a warrant article, we do that every year on our side as well.
I just don't remember acronyms.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Neither do I. And just so you know, we're at our net school spending requirements. We're at what the state requires us to spend in vocational education. So we take that very seriously when we build our budget, starting back in November. We go to our departments and we look at, making sure that we stay within what we're required to spend and not go over that amount.
And is there a per student number that goes with that?
There
There
is.
is a per stu-
I don't
is that-
have the
is
chart
that sheet
with,
here?
no, I didn't, so I kind of switched it up a little bit this year. I don't have that chart, but with some math, we can figure out what the per student amount is.
Okay.
So on the
Thank
next
you.
page, you'll see out of that $43.6 million budget, 60% of it comes from Chapter 70, and then the remaining balance would come from the 9 communities that we service.
So we'll talk about enrollment. So enrollment for us, our Chapter 70 enrollment is both our high school enrollment and in-district post-secondary enrollment. We have a post-secondary institute with 10 certificate programs. West Bridgewater has a very low number of students that are in that program. But when you look at our FY27 enrollment, that 1726 is made up of 1,636 high school students, and the remaining 90 are post-secondary students. Over the past 10 years, West Bridgewater's enrollment has been very strong, and you see around FY23, it really jumped from the 40s to over 60, and it's stayed there for the last 5 years. This year, as you may or may not know, we had to implement an admissions lottery. For admissions, we held our first admissions lottery last Friday. West Bridgewater, I think I had told Mark last night that we had 27 applicants from West Bridgewater. I was doing that by memory. We actually had 29, so I apologize for the confusion. Only 9 students from West Bridgewater were selected in the lottery, compared with 17 students from West Bridgewater who were admitted to our 9th grade class last year. So that's less than half. That is a preliminary number because we made an offer of 420 spots. Some people will not accept those offers, and so, we'll pull students off the wait list over the next few weeks. So we'll be able to provide you a real number, a little bit later in the school year. But one of our concerns was twofold, that either the lottery would have the effect of you having a whole lot more students, which is fiscally really impactful and not a great way sometimes for communities. But the flip side is also that your students would have less opportunity with us, and that appears to have been the case this year. is that they have fewer opportunities. Is something that, you know, we have to be aware of. So we are admitting 420 freshmen with this caveat. We have applied for a Chapter 74 robotics and automation program approval to fill our new STEM edition. And if the STEM, if that is approved, which it could be as early as the end of this month or no later than June, we will admit 18 additional students. Starting with this freshman class, 18 the following year, 18 the following, 18 the following. So over 4 years, we would build our enrollment by 72 students. Historically, Brockton has had about 60% of our enrollment. So if those numbers hold, then they would have about 40-something of those students, and the rest would be spread amongst the 8 remaining towns. So I wouldn't expect you to have to worry about 72 more students, but you might have a few incremental
Would that be
improvements.
strictly lottery as well?
It's all lottery. It's all lottery. So at that point, we're pretty maxed out. We've talked about this before. We are on protected wetlands. There's no place for us to build. We know there's no appetite in our communities to build a new school or whatever, so we're gonna make do with what we have at that point and focus on really making sure that our programs are aligned with what students want and that we have enough capacity in those programs kids really want, electrical and plumbing and carpentry and HVAC and medical assisting, to meet the needs once we get them there. So that is where we are. Does anybody have any questions about the enrollment or about lottery before we move on?
So the -11 is the lottery effect then?
Yeah. So I will say that, you know, we're watching every day as the acceptances come in. So 315 students have already accepted a spot out of those 420, but 8 out of 9 from West Bridgewater have already accepted their enrollment. So
The -11 was this past October 1st.
yes, the -11 is this past October 1st.
Okay.
That it was down a little bit, but then we would expect also next October 1st to see that number down
Yeah.
also. Okay, so thank you. So again, the primary driver of your local assessment is your enrollment. And with your enrollment being down 14.6%, we would expect to see a reduction. And Mark's going to talk about that.
So, obviously, the big question, what's the assessment for FY '27? On the next page, you can see for FY '27, West Bridgewater's assessment is $1,035,493. So it's down $90,021 from the prior year. And then Janice, with some quick math I did here, per student cost for West Bridgewater is $15,455, based on these numbers.
Thank you.
So on the next page, again, vocational education is important to us and to every student that we have, regardless if we have 1 student from your community or if we have 1,000 students from your community. So we're continuing, you know, to be engaged with all the students and making sure that they're getting the education they deserve, from regardless of what town they come from. So that cost, again, is that to the town of West Bridgewater, but it costs the same to educate any student regardless of the town or city they come from. So we continue to look forward to proudly serve West Bridgewater's students as we go forward.
And how are you adjusting your programs? Are you like doing away with some and adding more with, you know, more IT focused or artificial intelligence, or do you not get into that space at all?
So obviously, AI is bleeding into everything, right? Regardless of what the program is. We have dedicated cybersecurity and networking programs, engineering, and things where the nexus is a little easier to see.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there in everything that we do. We're engaged in a strategic program evaluation, right? And that means that we need to increase capacity in those programs that students want and that lead to immediate post-graduation employment. That's our mission, that's our heart, that's where we want to be. And, you know, we have to look at right-sizing other programs and, you know, we're not at that place yet where we can say that we're going to eliminate this or we're going to do that. But it's definitely where our focus is shifting away from trying to build additional enrollment, because the enrollment is strong and we think the school is pretty right-sized for our 9 communities. And we also recognize West Bridgewater is our only sending district that did not lose enrollment in the K-12 local schools. I think you had 3 additional students. Brockton lost over 600 students. Stoughton lost over 200 students in
You
their
mean
K-12
overall
local
down?
schools, and their
Oh.
K-12 local schools.
Mm.
We're very sensitive to what's happening in our towns and want to make sure that our building is right-sized and our enrollment is right-sized so that all of you can continue to support it and support your own K-12 local schools as well, so.
So the next few pages are really more for informational purposes, but what I will do is if you skip to a couple ahead of the graph chart that says Southeastern on it, I just want to, again, reiterate, we're at our net school spending requirements, so and we take that very seriously. So you can see that the solid blue line is the actual amount we're required to spend. Is the actual spending, and the dotted line is what we're required to spend. And you can see that the two overlap each other. So again, we take that seriously when we build our budgets to be, fiscally adverse to things that are coming upon us as the times change, but also to be responsible to the towns that we service to make sure that we don't go over that amount. So again, I can answer any questions that you have, if you have any, or if you want to go back to any slides, go into more depth of that.
Does anybody have any questions?
No.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and
Thank
again,
you so
please,
much for coming.
Thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot to us.
All right.
Yeah,
Mr.
we
McCarthy, we
appreciate
look
you
forward to
coming.
having lunch
Thank
sometime.
you.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
You got it.
And then, this is the story. So, do you know if they're here?
It sounds like, it's like Nancy was talking to someone, I'm assuming that they are. So I'm just gonna see
They're in the green room.
In the green room. Having champagne. We have the wrong seats again.
Story of my life.
Now.
Go to the old garden, right behind a pole.
Been there, done that myself.
Call the IT.
Mm.
He's over there.
Hello,
Hi, everyone.
we are ready for you.
You ready?
We are.
I know, maybe we should just start even without everyone here, get this going.
I did a test run on this for about 2 hours.
Did we do, I think we had trouble with that in one of our meetings too.
Yeah,
we have
actually,
No, I'm saying LB.
we have a paper copy for you, Mark, but
I have my copy too.
Yeah, okay.
why is this not working?
We got time too. We got ones here so far.
Needs to be
Trying to
troubleshooted.
reboot.
That's right.
There you go.
Ooh,
Yeah.
almost, there you go.
You're gonna have a crick in your neck.
Do you wanna come on the other side?
You've been right in front of me.
I know. Because it's probably all right.
It's all right here.
Yeah, it's all right here. I can probably actually see it better here than there.
Right there.
Yep.
So, all right, in my presentation.
It should be
didn't even- okay.
towards, yep, so if you want to start there.
Perfect. Thank you.
So how far in is the presentation?
Gotta start with that. It's way down.
Good, thank you.
Do we have everyone?
No, we got two more coming up.
2 more coming.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No,
It's
no
only
worries,
6:30,
no
but
worries.
thank you. Love to start early, I know.
Me too.
It's a
No
long
worries.
night for everyone.
Where you do that?
On B to it.
Did you do it?
I was looking for it.
Done and done.
Do we have any
Metal,
questions?
yeah, just to write a question, if I have a question, I didn't get an answer
I'm
to.
sure we're gonna roll back to these ones,
Thank you.
because they were last night on last selectmen's meeting, they were, last, so.
What time is we have? Too far off.
No, I know.
We've gotten better at timing this stuff.
I know. Go from a job to your volunteer time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming to an end though, right? Well, no. That's true.
You're just getting into the heat of it, aren't you?
This is when the panic comes in, right? The people say, I haven't called you yet.
Emotional reactions to their answer.
Oh, it's the worst.
For good or for
Or they're-
bad, right?
Or standing in line to file for an extension, right?
Right.
Oh.
There's a lot. I don't know what's going on locally, but yeah, a lot of new clients.
Yeah, really. That's good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
A lot of changes too
Yes,
in the tax laws.
that's a big part of it. But it's good. It's good. Are there any other lotteries besides, there's Norfolk Abbey, Bristol Abbey, Southeastern. Are there any others for the 9th or 10th grade?
For our students, no. Only
Sorry.
Bristol, Plymouth, if we have students from Rainham, they would call in Bridgewater. So we may have students who are here with us through choice, but so they may be applying to those schools. But
You can try to Rising Tide. She got her there. She hasn't got into either of the Aggies. Southeastern, 10th grade.
With your friends.
yeah, Rising Tide's over in Plymouth still, I think, right?
She didn't, she barely put it up here.
Okay, yeah.
So
I-
we'll see what happens.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
they're-
got one Aggie lottery left. Bristol's
'Cause-
is Tuesday?
It's strange that they do them at different times.
Oh my goodness, it has been the craziest. I can see how the lotteries are good, but it's also not good.
It's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of students that we've got in so far is less than we have in the past, but they always do a second one, or they look, and so it's not done, I don't think. We've been told there'll be another one,
Oh, wow.
but it could be very dramatic of a change, you know.
Yeah,
It's not
it
known.
really does change your plans. You
Yeah.
have less control over it.
Much
You
less.
have no control.
I mean, I hope they
The
decide
number
to go to a system where they at least give a certain amount per district, and then you do a lottery within that number, so you're, at least you're budgeting, more certainty, which is important. Okay.
We
Oh,
good?
now wait for Mo. We'll wait for Mo.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, for
I don't
Mo,
wanna leave
yes.
Mo, I don't
We'll have to make him feel bad when he walks in.
Right?
I could start on slide
Simulator
4 or
again.
something like that.
What do you say, 4 minutes?
Flight simulator again.
4 minutes.
Takes a little longer than that. Wouldn't even at the end it started.
It didn't finish the
Okay.
pre-flight.
I think everyone is now present, I believe.
All right,
If you'd
so I'm
like
ready
to
to go.
get going.
Perfect, all right.
Welcome.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming.
Thank you. We have, I think it's 11 slides, but then we'll certainly be open for questions from myself, Kathy, or any of the school committee members. Just starting with, our overall ask for our budget is just $19.5 million. That is minus the school contribution, so the total number to operate our school system for FY '27, we're proposing at $22.5 million, which is $916,949 over FY '26, which is a 4.93% increase. And one of the things I keep hearing, we heard it last night at the Board of Selectmen, so I kind of want to address it up front, is, what other districts are doing, what's happening in other districts in our area. And I think, every district is unique and different, and I think one of the things that's unique for us is school choice. We bring in $1.2 million, so we're projecting that for next year, which is 5.3% of our overall budget. So again, trying to compare that to other districts is a little bit different. Whether the feelings are good or bad, we think it's primarily very good for our district for a number of reasons, but that makes us different. And every district budgets differently. You go back 4 or 5 years, we had a lot of differences, things going on through ESSER. And we made some real strategic decisions. We didn't get a ton of money through ESSER through the 3 different funding cycles, so we tried not to fund staff, but we ended up funding some staff through it. And we made strategic decisions to not fund them any longer. So I'm not sure if that's what happened in other districts or not, but for example, we had a Howard School reading specialist, a part-time specialist. We had 6 tutors, ELA and math tutors at the elementary and secondary level for about $110,000. And we made the decision not to fund those anymore. So we took them out of the ESSER. We also didn't account for them in our budget. We had other positions in FY '25 totaling $184,000, which were 2 half-time special ed teachers, a .5 speech and language, and a 1.0 ESL teacher. And that money we made sure we put into our budget, and thankfully the town accepted that in. So we're operating at kind of a net zero in terms of what we had in ESSER and what we took out or put into our budget. So again, I'm not making judgments on any other districts, but I'm not sure if that happened in all districts. And I think it's just important to not really compare other districts. I think we're our unique district.
Can I hear that number 19 kicked around. What is that 19 additional people?
Oh, I can address that now.
I don't want to jump. I don't want.
No. I mean, I think it's actually a point that I anticipated the question, and I anticipated how are we adding staff, and I think where we added staff is important because when people ask, continue to ask, why is it important? A lot of these decisions aren't optional in terms of adding staff. They're driven by student needs, legal requirements, and out of responsibility to provide the most appropriate education for all students. So things such as when we open separate programs to better serve our students in the district, we must select staff so we are not sending people out of district. Otherwise, we're going to increase more of a cost. When occupational therapy evaluations and services increase by 25% or more, we must ensure that we are meeting the needs of all those students. When students' medical needs are exceeding the one nurse that can manage it safely in a classroom, and in a school, we must provide adequate nursing to make sure all students are safe. When a student's IEP requires one-to-one support, it's not a choice, it's a legal obligation to add staff. When 69% of our 4th and 5th grade students are not yet meeting expectations on the MCAS, we must respond with the additional supports to make sure that they're meeting those needs. When we have inclusion classrooms for special education students, we have 18 of them at the elementary level and more at the high school, we must have additional supports within those classrooms. When more than a third of our students in grades K to 5 are performing below our district benchmarks, we can't ignore it, and we have to find interventions for them. When we're unable to meet the mental health needs of all students who are in crisis or are experiencing difficulty, we need to have staff for those students. When we're cited for accreditation purposes in the future of not having certified staff, we want to correct that. And when we have students move into West Bridgewater who are multilingual learners, and they require up to 90 minutes a day per student, we're required to provide that. So these aren't hypotheticals, these are things that are happening and have happened over the past 5 years. And the reality is public schools are fundamentally different than other town departments. We have nearly 1,400 students. We have to educate them from ages 3 to 22, and they all have unique needs. So staffing becomes difficult. Staffing isn't based on the enrollment as much as it's based on the needs. So it's kind of a general way of answering your question. We've had to add staff over the years, an 11% increase over 5 years, so a 2.2% average increase. But it's been based on the needs of our students.
I always ask this question, and I think I know the answer, but I come from a different environment on budget control and management. But how do you measure the return on that investment?
First, there's legal requirements.
I see all the MCAS things going down, and you say we need more people to help them get up. I mean, that doesn't add up to me.
So I don't understand.
Well, that when we add 19 staff, I expect a big return on that investment.
Well, they're not all academic. Some are, social emotional, some are special education, some are sub-separate programs. So again, we don't have any math tutors or reading coaches or math coaches. We don't have elementary curriculum people that a lot of districts have. So yeah, I think we're meeting the needs of our students, but the additional staff over the time has been really predicated on the need to meet the overall needs of every kid.
I find that a little bit troubling, because if we have 69% not meeting expectations for reading,
So 69%.
how are we meeting the needs of the students?
So 4th and 5th grade, the MCAS is divided into exceeding, meeting, partially meeting, and not meeting. So 69% of our 4th and 5th graders are at the partially meeting or not meeting. So they're in the 2 lowest categories. And that's, I think we have a reading specialist for grades 1 to 3. We have no reading specialist grades 4 to 12. So I think that would be a big help for our tier 2 instruction, for our students who are most needy.
And then what was the 1/3 performing below, what was that statistic?
About 1/3 of our students are performing below expectations on our district assessments. So we have district assessments, common assessments. So we looked at that in terms of how we can bring their needs up.
Is that in reading or math or
ELA.
all over?
Yeah, that's an ELA.
English language learners.
Yes.
So sometimes it seems like we're heading more and more to a one-on-one environment in order to get them up.
Well, I think we need to look at interventions for students to make sure we have the interventions there for our neediest students. Some are doing really well, but you have your tier 1, which is are your teachers, and then you have tier 2, which is your specialized education. Title 1 would fall into tier 2, reading specialist, and then you have your your tier 3, which is your more intensive interventions with students. So I mean, we're not looking at 1-to-1, but we're making sure we have different interventions for our students.
Right.
So when you talk about regulation, is it a problem with the state that they're making mandates and not funding them properly?
I mean, for example, for our multilingual learners, we have 81 students in the district. Depending on what level they come in on, there's certain time requirements. They don't fund staff for that, but we're responsible for providing that education of that time. So yeah, I'd say that's an unfunded mandate to do that.
That's gone up astronomically.
81?
Yeah.
It's gone up over time. We're actually at the same number. So our multilingual students fall into 2 categories. They're either EL, so English language learners, or FEL, formerly English language learners. We stayed at 81 the past 2 years. Some of the numbers flipped from EL to FEL, so formerly English language. The goal is to get them to pass the assessments, so they're no longer considered that. So that number is up over the years.
I remember
for
it was
sure.
like 20, not that long ago.
We've added staff to it. We haven't had staff in the past few years, but we did start out with 1.5, and now we're up to 4 staff members. And again, it's over 4 buildings.
Yeah.
But we've stayed consistent, so we're not looking to add there.
Okay. So you know, and maybe this is outside the scope of the budget, but what's the plan to get those 69% of kids up onto reading? Like, I'm not sure that a half FTE or whatever it is you have in here is gonna do that.
It's gonna be a start.
Is it homework? Is it, like, what's driving that? Do you
I mean,
know?
I think you're looking at, we recently started a new English curriculum, so
Okay.
that we're in year 3 of that, so that's starting to pay dividends.
Okay.
And we're just looking at, you know, again, MCAS is one indicator.
Yeah,
It's one
definitely.
assessment.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. All right, thank you.
All right.
Could I just ask a question?
Sure.
You had mentioned an accreditation for accreditation purposes. What is that
Okay, so that's
specifically?
good question. That is, has to do with our library media specialist. So one of the standards, NEASC is our accrediting agency, New England Association of Schools and Colleges. They accredit high schools every 10 years. We were last accredited in 2020. We're due for accreditation in 2030. We'll start our self-evaluation in 2028. So one of the indicators under student learning is having a library media specialist. So we had one in there
Yeah, I was gonna say,
4
didn't
years.
we
Yep,
have one?
we had one in there 4
Okay.
years ago. So the history on that
4 years ago?
is this is actually, yep, 4 years ago, because we've gone 3 years without. So 4 years ago, we had a person in the position. They did not return. We had trouble in the spring and summer finding a qualified person for that position. We ended up taking that money and using half of it to fund a TV production teacher, with the other half coming from the cable committee. The cable committee has did a 3-year agreement with us. They have extended it for another year. The reason we did that was we couldn't find a qualified person, and we were losing. During that year, our TV production teacher was going to be the coordinator, which meant he went from teaching 6 classes to 4 classes. You know, really limiting the amount of courses for TV production. So we were able to hire someone in that position. Every year since then, we've budgeted half of that halftime position into our budget. So we budgeted that amount, and we have not budgeted for the library media specialist. So that's why it's an addition for this year.
So where was the other half, though? If half went to the TV pro, where'd the other half
The other
go?
half was
2
used
years,
that
3
year,
years ago?
it was 4 years
Online.
ago, so on just different things within the budget, different staffing needs, we may, I honestly can't tell you exactly where it
yeah, I
was,
don't know either, no.
4 years ago, but it was used, to address needs within the, you know, the teaching services line.
So do you still have the TV production person?
We do,
You do,
we do.
for halftime?
Halftime for out of our budget, halftime out of the cable committee.
Okay.
And when does that end?
We extend it for another year.
Okay.
So
So
hopefully
that's a
beyond that.
different specialty than a library media specialist?
Correct. Yep, they're teaching TV production courses. They're doing middle school courses and high school courses. They have TV production 1, 2, 3, and 4, so different levels. And if you've ever been in the TV studio, you'll see it's a quite a, you know, a special place in terms of learning and hands-on learning, which is really important. And then we have quite a few kids who go off to college with great experiences, and some major in TV production.
And this library media specialist would be at the high school in that library doing what?
So they would work out of the library. They would presumably teach 1 or 2 middle school classes. They would also be a resource for all of our educators, both at the middle, senior high school, and within the district. We don't have anyone currently in that position in the district, provide professional development, coaching, going into classrooms, having classrooms come into the library to do research, to do digital literacy, and also, again, be a resource for our entire district when we look at AI, technology integration. Many districts have multiple people doing this. For example, we had 4 educators come from Dartmouth Public Schools, and they provided professional development, 1 for our elementary staff and 1 for our secondary. But they had 4 different people filling that type of a position.
So our technology director doesn't teach the teachers?
No, I mean, he's doing a lot of things. He's not teaching. He's doing everything from our SIMS data to working on everything to do with, you know, setting up technology. It's not a teaching role, the technology director.
I mean, in terms of assisting teachers.
I mean, he can provide kind of as needed support, but that's not his role. I mean, a technology director in a district is doing everything K-12 and everything within the district.
So can I just go back to
Sure.
one other question? So you said that coming up 2030 is when we get reevaluated every 10 years with
Correct.
NEASC, and that you're saying in 2028 is when we're gonna start to kind of get our ducks in a row per se for that review.
Correct.
So why are we asking for the media specialist now then? Why can't we just put it off for 2 years?
I
Or a
mean,
year?
it's a good question, because we haven't had it for 3 years.
Right,
And
right.
I think part of that was the need has grown. I think the technology need has grown, especially with AI. I think we're seeing more and more need for technology integration, teaching our students and our staff to make sure that they're ready to do this. Majority of our staff when surveyed wants more technology assistance. And I think it's overdue to have a person in that role. But I think it's, and I've looked at the past few years saying, if I'd rather keep it in the TV production because I don't want to lose that. So we made a
Yeah.
decision not to ask for it over the past 3 years. I think
Okay.
part of that was budget consciousness. We wanted to, we didn't want to add something that we didn't feel was a real need. And now I think things are just more recently just really started to change. And I think I want to make sure our students and our staff are set up for success.
Are you asking for a full or 0.5?
Full,
Sorry,
yeah,
full.
if we can find it, yeah.
And then your other one was with respect to, I know the mental health, but you also said like physical health. Can you talk about that, about the nurse?
Sure. I think you have it in your packet, some information. So we have seen a real big uptick in elementary students with type 1 diabetes. So next year at the Roselle McDonald, we'll have 5 students. We have 2 now at the Roselle McDonald. We have 3 going over from kindergarten. The amount of time that they're spending, the nurse is spending, is on average about 45 minutes a day per student. So they're checking them regularly. And talking to Julie Dietrichson, our lead nurse, it's becoming overwhelming, especially at it will be next year at the Roselle McDonald. Because not only are they dealing with these diabetic students who have needs, and they're our youngest students, but they're also dealing with all the needs of the other students, within the school. So they're average between 40 and 70 visits a day, depending on the
That's
time
high,
of
isn't
year.
Strikes me as very high.
For students, I mean, when you're talking about, 300 kids, you're talking, just 10 to 15, 20%, and they're not all medical emergencies, but they are requiring some assistance if it's bumps and bruises from recess, or belly aches, or headaches, or, at the upper levels, it could be concussions, they're dealing with that, EpiPens, inhalers, things like that. So, even at the middle senior high school, we only have 1 nurse for 630 students. And again, sometimes those needs are a little bit more complicated, because sometimes they might be down there for more mental health
Yeah, I was gonna say,
counseling.
isn't there a crossover kind of with
Yeah.
the mental health clinicians? How many do you have at the high school for the
1.
mental health?
Oh,
Sorry.
mental health staff, we
Yeah.
have 1 adjustment counselor and 1.6 school psychologists. We had
Okay.
2 adjustment counselors and a 0.6 school psychologist, but this year we were able to hire a school psych, which provides higher level of service because we can do more testing. So this nurse would be a 0.5 nurse that would be there every day, and they'd pick a time kind of in the middle of the day to work with the diabetics, but also be there for relief for all the students and float. I think primarily they'd be at Roselle, but they'd also be considered a float nurse that could, if there's something going on at the high school or at the Howard School, they could go there as well.
Is there any kind of, and I'm sure Julie Dietrichson looked into it, but any kind of grant or anything, because this is just a very, as serious as it is, and I'm not undermining the
Mhm.
seriousness of it, so don't misunderstand that, but it's just for, to follow these 7 particular students, because next year they're all gonna be, or 5 of them will be at Roselle, and then there's 2 over in Howard now? Is that what you just said?
There's 9 in the district total.
Total 9? I
I'm
thought it
not
said
sure if there's
7.
any at Howard. There's, I think it's 2 at the Roselle now, 3 at Spring Street,
So
and the
3
rest are in
and
the
5.
district, right, yeah.
So, I mean, at some point, they're going to still kind of do the overlap. It's kind of like a repeat of the bubble classes, right?
Mhm.
It just seems like to have a full-time nurse now to follow these kids through when I don't know, is there some kind of other way to fund this besides through the budget?
There are behavioral health grants out there that we do participate in one and provide some, really it's a documentation, nurse who does a lot of documentation at the middle senior high school just with that 630 students.
Yeah.
There's a lot, I mean, every time someone goes down to the nurse, it's documented and it's put into their system, so there's a lot of paperwork. We can look for additional ones. We've had some success over the years getting grants, and if we can find it, we would certainly want to do that.
Yeah, no, I know, and,
Yeah, we also use, some of that grant to fund .25 of the Spring Street nurse.
okay,
So that was a .75 position. It always is out of the
Okay.
general fund. We've had this grant, I believe, for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping it repeats in '27. The indicators are good that it will, and we do fund a quarter of our Spring Street nurse with.
so then maybe that Spring Street nurse then can follow those 3 students that are going from Spring Street then to Roselle.
But, so what they could, but the start times are important, because what we do with the Spring Street nurse now is because the middle senior high school starts at 7:30 and
Yeah.
Spring Street starts at 9.
Yeah.
She goes over to the high school in the morning for that first block, so that's her quarter over there, spending some time there. So with Roselle starting at a similar time to Spring Street, she couldn't be in both places.
So you have, in the past, used sort of a, I'll call it a substitute nurse? I
We
think
have
you said-
substitute nurses.
Yeah, that was like $100 an hour or something. So is this person's salary, like how does that equate?
So this person would be on the salary scale, so it'd be a .5, and I think we budget around 35,000, 33,000.
36.
The $100 an hour that we noted was what we would have to pay for a surround care. So by law, if we have students who cannot care for themselves with diabetes, we have to provide nursing coverage for surround care. Currently, that coverage is paid for out of surround care. So so it's right out of that revolving account. And thankfully, we're able to use our school nurses. But if we could not find a school nurse, then we would have to pay through an agency, which would be about $100 an hour.
I'm just wondering if you had an agency provide this additional support, this half FTE, would that actually be less costly?
It'd be a lot more. It'd be $100 an hour.
Even accounting in benefits? I mean, we're talking health insurance, we're talking retirement, we're talking, like, it's a
the
whole package, not just a salary.
Yeah, but their
Right.
budget only pays the salary, the town does the benefits.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
impact on the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking the
Yeah.
questions, right?
Right,
I'd have to look at the numbers at $100 an hour
mean,
for
it's-
3.5 hours a day times 5, so 17 and a half hours a week, times the.
Would that all be for diabetics?
I defer to math people on that
Yeah,
one for more on that.
sorry.
That's out of my quick math in the head.
I mean, I'm really familiar with type 1 diabetes because my wife's a type 1 diabetic. And so this is very interesting to me, but I know all high school nurses are required to be fully educated in diabetes treatment. So right there, I don't quite understand why we need someone else. And when you say 45 minutes per student, that's a lot.
And that's throughout the day. They're regularly checking.
That's a
So
lot.
all of the nurses that have a diabetic
But they
student.
have meters still.
They
yeah, what
do.
about the
They
technology
do.
they
They,
offer?
they have I think it's an iPad, a device.
I mean,
So
you
they're
just
they're
look.
monitoring each individual student. Now, we know that things change a lot, especially when they're young and
Yeah,
they're
of
little,
course.
but they're monitoring them before snack, after snack, before they go outside, after they go outside, before, right when they come in during the day, right before they leave for the day. If they're going to surround care, they're making sure they're good.
Doesn't
So
take
they're-
that long, though. do
But
that.
I would defer to the nurse for me to answer that, but I think there's a lot that they're doing every day. And I see it right now at Spring Street, the amount of time that and a lot of times they're going down to the classroom. Most of the time they're going down, otherwise we'd be pulling these kids out of class. So every time they're in a classroom doing these checks, there's no one in the nurse's office for any kind of
I mean,
emergency.
there would come a point if these kids are out of control, as they say, high or low, no nurse is gonna control that. They're either eating food when they shouldn't be eating it, there's something kinked in their line or something, so no matter how much money we throw at it, there's gonna be problems.
Well, this
So it
this
goes
money is
back
to
to the
ensure their
parents.
safety. So I think this is a high priority for us. And in talking to Julie Diedrichson, I believe she said at our last school committee meeting, she's been in the district, I think, 27 years, and I think she's seen a total of 7 diabetic students, and, you know, we have 5 this year, at the elementary
Yeah.
level.
What age
So-
are they, Mark?
Kindergarten and first grade, I believe. They're little.
Can you just explain, I'm so sorry, about the 0.25 for the Spring Street nurse, how it wouldn't work for her to follow them when they go to Roselle, those 3 students? Because
Sure.
of the hours, I'm sorry.
Yep, so Spring Street
See.
School
Starts
starts
at
at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Roselle starts at 9
Eight-
o'clock,
8:30?
8:30.
8:30.
So she's gonna be at Spring Street from 9 to 2:30. That's her contractual
Okay.
time. That would be the .75. So we're paying her to come in at 7:30 so she can go up to the high school to provide coverage up there. She's also available when parents want to come in early or if there's surround care issues. So she wouldn't be able to be from 8:30 to 9. It wouldn't really be, that would be the only time that she could be a duplicate nurse at Roselle, if that
So
makes sense.
so it couldn't be for that 0.25, she couldn't be kind of like on call?
They're always on call.
Meaning for, specifically for these students?
When they're at the Roselle,
Yeah,
she could, absolutely, but then that would leave Spring Street uncovered. And then the high school nurse would have to come down. A lot of districts will have
Right.
some kind of a floating nurse, or they'll have a nurse leader who isn't one of the building nurses. So
yeah.
again, I think we've stretched our nursing staff
Yeah.
pretty thin.
Understood.
And again, that's why we're looking only at a .5 and not a full-time nurse, because eventually we may need more, but we're gonna go with, what we know we're gonna need, rather than asking for more than we would need.
So it's more than 10 hours a week?
It would be contractually, their days about 6 and
Yeah, it's like
3/4 hours.
18 and 18.75 hours a week or something like that. But I'm not sure exactly what I just can't remember. It varies each school, but it's
Yeah.
around 18, let's just say 18.
And again, as you know, I mean, obviously, we're looking not at just the salary, but everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Is-
the the whole
Yeah,
package.
yeah,
Is,
because
the
I
whole
was figuring you
package
could get
is-
somebody $100 an hour.
It goes-
Like
it's-
360 hours, you can get them for 10 hours a
Yeah,
week at the,
I mean-
as
So
a,
would this be hiring another half-time person?
Yeah,
Do we provide
that's what they're-
benefits if they, do we provide benefits when they work less than 20 hours?
I don't know, that's a good question.
I don't think we do, or
Well, it's
would
in-
we use
You'd have to ask them, it's in their contract.
The teacher's
So who's-
contract does
0.5.
say .5.
Gets benefits. Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's still,
So that's,
yeah,
Adds up.
adds up. Okay.
so what would health insurance be roughly, David?
Again, most of the people will take a family plan on the town side, $30,000 a year. Single family, 15 to 18,000 a year.
What was
And
that
then-
again?
30,000 for a family plan for health insurance,
If
they
15
take-
to
If
18
If
for an
they-
individual.
If they take the top one, yes. There's 4 or 5 plans. You'll see when we get to the benefits line later on tonight that our insurance has been re-rated this year, so it's gonna be a 10% increase. We've been able
Sure.
to escape it the last couple of years, but not this year.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so, at a 65-35 split on family, it's about $2,900 a month that the town pays, so just times that by 12.
Yes,
And that would be for the library media specialist as well,
yeah,
because they'd be full-time.
Full-time,
So that's
yeah. Yep.
So it's almost exactly the salary amount for the nurse in particular.
yeah.
If that nurse is at 36,000, we're looking at benefits of 30,000 plus,
Assuming they take a family plan.
assuming they
Yeah.
take
I,
family.
obviously, that's not.
Yeah.
This is the only, this is somewhat new to us in terms of we've never had a conversation
Understood.
about
Understood.
health insurance related to additional staff. I know that, the school budget's about 40% of the
Yeah.
town's budget. I
Yeah.
know that, the insurance is about 20%, but that's, district, it's the entire
Yeah.
town. So I know the amount that the schools are funded, again, 40% is, compared to other districts, a little bit lower
Yep.
than that, so.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it's more cost effective to actually hire it out, like to a,
Could be about
Kind of looking-
$63,000
Yeah.
a year at $100 an hour.
for the 18 hours-ish.
Yeah, I know you gave a little explanation early on the other towns, but I can still hear David talking last night about surrounding towns that are either have a no hiring freeze or they're laying people
Laying
off.
people off, yeah.
I don't think we're an island in that regard.
No, but we're also, a district that, brings in over 5% through school choice.
But
And I'm not sure how they've budgeted in the past. I don't want to judge them either way, but I don't know if it's fair to judge good or bad West Bridgewater against other districts. That's my personal opinion. I understand that districts are going for overrides and districts are having layoffs. I don't know what they've added. I don't know what they have to cut. I only really can speak to West Bridgewater.
When you mentioned school choice again, of all the special ed we have and ESL and so forth, have you ever figured out how much of that comes from school choice?
Yes, I have. If you don't mind, I can go through a few slides and get to
Yeah,
that. 'Cause I do
please.
have that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. So this slide just details our school contributions. This is the highest amount. It's gone up kind of along with the budget, but again, the 1.2 million for school choice. Circuit breaker is the amount of money that's funded over a threshold amount of, I think it's $54,000.
$354, it goes up every year.
Every dollar over that is reimbursed by the state at 75%. There's legislation to make it 90%, which would be better. But we're estimating 966,000 of that extra amount.
And that's when they actually fund, right?
They do.
Not like the transportation.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they do
But
fund that.
But there is an unfunded mandate portion of that, because when they originally wrote the bill, they were gonna fund it 100%.
Yeah.
Over the base amount that goes up every year,
Mm-hmm.
so.
The next are special education grants. We have a few big grants that kind of make up that amount, and we put that towards special education. And a revolving account, our athletic revolving, surround care for revolving. So that makes up about 16% of the budget that we're not asking the town for.
So the surround care is fully self-supporting program?
Correct. This just shows where we are over the past 4 years, year over year. With our trend, it is down 37%, and it's been our goal to continue moving down in terms of what we're asking the town for.
Quick question.
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Do you know, how much, how much would it affect your ask of 4.93% if the library media and the roaming nurse was not included? Do you know?
It would bring it under 4.5% if we took out both the 72,000 roughly that we have put in the budget for the library and like 36 and
For the
change
nurse.
for the nurse.
Okay,
So 80,000 brings it down to 4.5%.
thank you.
We've shown this slide over the past few years, but just as kind of a reminder, and again, West Bridgewater is not unique in this. About 1% of our students are placed out of district, which equals about 13% of our overall budget. The out-of-district tuitions are for tuitions to some of our local schools if they go to a program that we do not have in Bridgewater Raynham or East Bridgewater, all the way up to residential programs, which are obviously our most expensive.
Do we have, how many students do we have in that top tier? Do you know?
About, I would say 6 or 7.
6 or 7?
Our collaborative programs, so Reach Collaborative, North River Collaborative, tuitions range between 76 and 100,000, and transportation per student is always difficult, depending on their level of need, where they're going, but transportation costs are, unfortunately out of control.
Do we
And-
have students that we spend $100,000
We
on?
do,
We do.
we do.
Do they fall into the McKinney-Vento?
These are
Some
not,
of
that's
them?
separate.
Ah.
No, this is separate from that, yeah. That's
Okay.
that's another unfunded mandate,
I
for
know.
sure, for
Yep,
sure.
yep.
And there's also uncertainty with programs. We went through a process last year for a placement that went from 121,000 to 163,000. It was over a 34% increase in a placement. And again, these placements are what our students need, so they're appropriate for our students. but the 34.4% increase was difficult, so we went through the DESI process, and unfortunately it remained that because they were doing some program reevaluation. But you know, depending on where students' placements, they may change. Depending on the team's decision, we're kind of at the mercy of the team and some of these programs.
So the unfunded liabilities that you talk about, the state doesn't pay for. Does DESI have anything to do with pushing the state to pay for those things?
DESI, the MASS, Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, MASC, yes, trying to push some of these transportation, fully funding, circuit breaker, things like that,
This
yes.
has been going on for years. It's
It
not
is.
going anywhere.
It really isn't. No, it's frustrating. Yep. I mean, special education costs in Massachusetts, we had a legislative breakfast a few weeks ago, and it was announced that since 2021, they've gone up 59%.
Wow.
So,
And the state is just non-responsive?
you know, we're looking at Chapter 70 funding. They have increased the minimum aid, which we are at. I think 75% of the districts or more are at minimum aid, so they've increased that. They've doubled it, but it's still not, doesn't match what districts and towns
What
need.
percentage of the Chapter 70 funds that we suppose we're get, how much do we actually get?
To the town,
Yeah,
the dollar amount,
or, you know, a percentage. You know, the state has the formula, and then they say, well, okay, we have, this is how much it calculates to be, but we're not gonna give you that amount.
it's an increase of a couple $100,000 a year, if you're minimum aid, depending on your district enrollment.
Although we didn't receive that much this year.
No, I don't, it was $75 per student, I think.
I don't know, all I know is our net is $86,000 year over year. It's a 1.2% increase.
This chart will show our high needs population has increased over the past 10 years from 24.1% to 35.6%. High needs defined by DESI are students in special education, are English language learners, and economically disadvantaged or low-income students. So it's a combination of all. If they qualify for one, doesn't matter if they qualify for two or three, they're counted in that number. And it was asked last night about, this is where I'll answer the question
School
about
choice, yeah.
school choice. So last night and this morning I did some research. So when we look at our English language learners, like I said, we have 81 English language learners in the district. 97.5% of them are West Bridgewater residents, 2.5% are school choice.
Interesting. Yeah.
We needed no additional staff for that 2.5%. Special education, we 87% of our special education students are West Bridgewater residents, where 13% are school choice. When you look at our 228 school choice students this year, 10.1% of those students are special education, where our resident students are at 13.3%. Again, no additional staff is needed. At the elementary level, grades 1 to 6, we have 10 school choice special education students. And at the secondary level, grades 7 to 12, we have 13. We didn't need to add any teachers or instructional assistants for those students because we already had the teacher, we already had the IAs in the inclusion classes. So to answer the question, more so from last night, but also from today, there's no additional cost for high need students for this. Now, what's more difficult, and I didn't get the poll yet, is the low income, because that goes through the state and we have to look up SACID numbers in terms of figuring out that. But so I can get more information on that, but overnight I wasn't
No,
able
I
to get it.
mean, those numbers are surprising to me,
Yeah.
but they are what they are.
Have the criteria for those changed over the same time
No.
in the 10 years? Like the definition of an economically disadvantaged student,
If
hasn't
it
that gone up?
changed, it changed for everyone. So it didn't change just for us. So I can't answer that. I don't have all the information, but if it changed, then it changed for across the state.
And
The
how
state
do-
number's gone up as well. We've gone up higher than the state though.
Yeah. How does that economically disadvantaged equate to high needs?
That's what the state is considering it. That's one of the criteria that they use.
So there's
Low-income
no like
students.
direct correlation?
There's
of-
no direct courses that would fall into that, like there is for our EL students and our special education
Or
students.
costs that you could,
Or costs, I mean,
equate, or,
not that you can equate directly, because you really wouldn't judge that they may be in lower level courses, or they may see,
yeah,
for
that's
the
why I'm
specialist.
curious why
So
it's even a
it-
thing.
Yeah, it's a number that they have used for at least the 10 years.
Mhm.
Probably, I know, beyond that too. So hopefully that answers some of the questions from tonight,
Mhm.
also from last night. But
That's
they were good
interesting.
questions, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I made sure when I got home last night, I
But
was on the computer and we
We are
pulled that
moving
data right from
to
Aspen.
get away from school choice, though.
Well, I
Going
think
in
there's,
that-
Well, we have overcrowding, so we really have to,
well, we have
right?
gotten away. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but our numbers have
Trending down.
decreased significantly at the elementary level. We've gone down, I think it's 39% of our school choice
Is
at
that
the
the
elementary
plan to
level.
eventually?
Eventually, but the correlation with that is there's gonna be a financial impact. Even if school choice goes away, and we're gonna do a more in-depth study,
Yeah.
but we're still gonna need teachers in the classrooms. We're still gonna need guidance counselors. We're gonna still need special education teachers, specialist teachers, cafeteria workers, custodians. So although you may reduce some teachers, I don't think it's gonna equal the $1.2 million. So now you'll have smaller classes, but now the town will have to come up with, maybe $500,000-600,000. So I think it's worth looking at. We certainly are not gonna overcrowd our schools, and we've made a conscious effort
Mm.
to add, students when we could,
Yeah.
but not to add staff.
Yeah, I mean,
So at least it kind of rings true for this year. We haven't needed to add staff for EL or our special education students that are
So
choice.
you were gonna bring those trends for the 5 years, did you
I
have
do
a
have
chance
some
to pull that
information, yep.
together?
So our enrollment, looking back to the 21-22 school year, compared to where we are today. And what's important to look at too is when you look at the DESI data, that's October 1st numbers. So we submit them and then they stay at that number. So we've had some growth since then, but my records show that from 21-22 school year to now, we're down 12 students over
Overall.
that time. So an average of less than one student per grade over that time.
And so the split between West Bridgewater and school choice,
So yeah, I do have that. So my records show that school choice has decreased about 20%. We're down from around, I think, 285 to 228, so 57 students over that time.
Mhm.
Elementary has decreased at 39%, and secondary level has only decreased at 9%. So we've needed to add we've shifted. We were at 228 last year. We're budgeting 230, but we're 228 right now. We would like to have more, but again, we're not going to overcrowd. We do have some space, but we've made a real conscious effort not to decrease, not to add to the elementary level. And the reality is, state of Massachusetts last year was down 1.6%, and the West Bridgewater was up slightly. When I looked at our Chapter 70 data, 75% of the towns, cities and towns in Massachusetts or districts lost enrollment. When I looked at southeastern Mass, 90% of our area schools lost enrollment. We gained enrollment, only by 10, so a slight increase, but I'd rather be a slight increase than a decrease, so.
So you're saying we gained from 21-22, say October of 21, 45 West Bridgewater students and lost 57 school choice?
That's what I have for
Is that what you
information.
have?
Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome. One of the areas we're looking for some cost control are our sub-separate programs or our comprehensive learning programs. So over the past 5 years, we've had these programs at Spring Street, Roselle, and Howard School. What these are, we've added staff in district to provide the least restrictive environment for our students. So We're providing programming within our schools rather than sending them out to our district placement. So not only the tuition are we saving, but the transportation as well. And honestly, it's best for our kids to have them in district. We can't do that for all students. If we had more space, we would. That was the plan with the building project, to have probably double the amount of in-district programming so we could address more needs, different needs that we don't address now. But a conservative estimate is about $750,000 we save every year. That number does fluctuate.
Is that net of what you added in staffing and program
Yes.
costs?
Yep. Yep. Because we know there's some definite cost of bringing in staff, and that's some of
Right.
our 19 have been some of those staff, not only the teachers, but we've added one-to-ones in some cases, or enhanced staffing. So we've had to add staff. But again, when you add a couple IAs and a teacher, and you're keeping 4 or 5 students in that would be placed in these expensive programs, it makes, a big difference.
So all of this is focused on the kids with special needs?
Correct.
Okay, make sure.
When we look at budgets, we are looking at 80% of our school budget supports staff and student services. So our teachers, our special education teachers, our support staff, our OT, PT, our adapted phys ed teachers, our English language learners teachers are all student service driven. And then 20% of it is operational cost and programming cost. But in any school district, 80% or so
there it
is going to
is,
be
yeah.
people
It's
related.
salaries.
It's salaries. It really is. So
It is
that's
in every business.
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And when we look at potential cuts and we look at reductions, a lot of these services are mandated by the state, whether it's IEP services, 504 services, whether it's our EL numbers. In their service grids for OT and PT, they're really very specific in what is mandated. When we're looking to cut areas, we potentially would cut be things like athletics, extracurricular activities, extras such as maybe our advanced placement courses. That as long as we have our core requirements, things like that. Kindergarten, we have kindergarten, but we're not required of a full day. We could do a half day, or we could have people pay for a half day. I don't think we want to do that, but those are some things that obviously would be on the table. Increasing user fees, things like that.
Would that be substantial, kindergarten paying for?
I mean, we did it at one point. I don't know what the cost would be. I don't think it's best for kids. I think it sets us back. A high majority of districts have full day free kindergarten. So I think that's what we'd want to maintain. Things we can't, we can cut, but with consequences. Classroom teachers, we have relatively good class sizes. 19 to 22, 23, I think is reasonable and appropriate for our students. But we've been in the high 20s.
As you point out, every year of that, almost $1 million is going to salaries, contractual agreements. Every year it's going up more and more.
It does.
Teachers that are making $150,000 a year, 5% is a lot of money.
We don't have teachers making 150, but we have those might be none of our teachers are making that.
Well, between 100 and 150.
Sure.
That's substantial.
And a lot of that's longevity. People have been here for a while,
Yeah.
and their degrees that they've moved
And that's
over.
really
So
a contractual battle, whoever's negotiating these contracts.
Sure. Yeah. And we're happy. We've got great staff. They do an outstanding job educating our kids every day.
Can I ask on this,
Sure.
when we talk about staff, this list of salaries, why there's at least 12 people that are on here twice? They're double. So isn't that going to up your budget?
There are people that are half, they're divided between buildings.
So we have like a secretary and a building secretary, and the salary is exactly the same. So we're paying $120,000 for the secretary to split between 2 buildings?
I'm sorry.
I know.
This is just a staff list that we got, that I asked for. It's not in the packet.
You can share that with us.
We can share that with you. But I'm just curious if we had an error here, or if we're double
Thought I was
counting
out
some
to
people.
lunch.
No, we're very specific when we look at our salaries. We go through every, and I'm not getting, this is where I'm not sure what other districts do, but we have every salary indicated, where their step and track is, so we know exactly what we're paying them. And we only count them once. We do have some specialist teachers who work in multiple buildings, so they may be 0.5 in one building and 0.5 in the other. That's how we have real specific building-based numbers. We can certainly look at those after.
I do have one double.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't put totals on this. This was just, you wanted the list of all the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that right there. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, there's
double.
like 12 people here that I highlighted that are on here twice, so I just didn't know if that was throwing your budget.
No, this did not, this is totally separate from the
Okay.
budget.
Yep.
This
Okay.
was just
That's
a
not a
list.
document we.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a document that we prepare regularly. I
Okay.
have a different document that I use to feed the budget.
What are the placeholders here for
Those are for the,
assuming you'll get the,
those are the staff that we've requested here.
okay.
So we'll put a number in there, usually like a master's degree, step 5. We work hard to stay under that, not over that. So, and the principals work hard when hiring to keep within the budget, so we don't go over what we budgeted.
Okay.
Are you gonna get into these more specifically? Because I was gonna ask for how many of these are full-time asks
For the
of
new
the,
staff, for the proposed new staff?
of what you're asking for here.
I can. Yeah, I only have 1 or 2 more slides and I can get into that.
You were gonna
specific
get
question.
there anyway. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
So again, financial pressures, we know that potentially, I think down the road, we're predicting school choice will go down. Whether it goes away or not, it will go down as space is limited. We have a low number in our senior class this year, but a higher number next year in our junior class. So the number we're projecting next year may be significantly lower. We're unsure about Southeastern. Right now, with the lottery system, we're unsure if the numbers will remain the same as they have in the past, when we've had more of a kind of a average. If it's significantly lower or higher, it certainly could affect. And we always wait, especially for our elementary, look at siblings first, if we add any. But the reality is, it's advantageous to add siblings due to the fact, for example, last year we had a family of 4, couldn't get a student into a particular grade, and all 4 went out. So there 3 were in, 1, so we end up with a net, loss of 4, rather than adding 1 more. But we made that decision not to add them at that level because we didn't want to potentially overcrowd. And then.
So how is that revenue going down when every year the budget's going up? Am I missing something?
The declining school choice revenue is going down.
So
The
that's
revenue that we're
specific
bringing
to
in,
school
yep,
choice?
yep.
Okay.
And then student needs, continue to go up over time. Our high needs population goes up, our English language learners have gone up, and as spoken before, operational costs are going up, not only in schools, but everywhere. We understand that. And again, we're looking to, maintain what we have and, potentially restoring positions that we feel are a need. Not a want, but a true need to the district, but we're certainly open to discuss that. And so, Mo, I think you're referring to this information?
I'm
So-
trying to get a handle on
Sure.
how many would be full-time, so I can think that's additional benefits.
Well, it's 0.5 as well under the contract,
So anything
Yeah.
that's
0.5 gets-
0.5.
benefits.
And also, I'd like to get a dollar number total on all of these positions that are.
So I believe the overall
Dollars.
190, 190 is the,
190.
190, yep.
190, if we added them all.
Correct.
And so starting at the top, so the 0.5 nurse would be a new position. So I'm sorry, I don't know if it's.
Yeah, it should be in there, Mark. I go backwards. I think it was loaded at the front.
I saw it.
Yes. Yeah, there it is. There you go.
Right there.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. I
Okay.
didn't assess with this one.
Sorry.
Let's go.
So, starting with the
This
0.5.
0.5 is a new, not adding hours to an existing person, but a
Correct,
new
yeah, I'll
person.
identify that, yep, good question. So, yeah, the 0.5 district nurse would be a brand-new position, brand-new person. We don't have anyone in district that would do that. And I think we budgeted that, again,
I have
Oh,
the
good.
dollar numbers if you want them, for each position. Did you
Sure.
want that? Okay.
Sure.
Do we have that in our packet? We
Yep.
do?
It should be in there.
So it's to the front?
this,
It was
I
after
think
the
it was
budget.
way on the bottom.
Yeah, it's after the budget. The proposed?
This was like
Oh.
36 something,
Right
right?
by it.
Go one more.
Got it. Thank you.
So the projected cost for the nurse would be $36,236.
Thank you.
The next one down is a .4 occupational therapy increase. We're gonna be doing some reorganization within this department, and we'll be adding the .4. So there's a smaller net increase of about
Yep,
$12,000.
that's $12,668. Very
That's not a new
specific
employee
because
though,
we-
that's just.
It's
giving
a-
them-
Correct,
an
that's,
existing employee.
so that wouldn't be anything to do with,
Giving them more time.
just
Correct.
more time, but they already have the ability to have benefits.
And currently, that employee does not have health insurance with us. They are insured elsewhere. So would they join ours? Maybe, but
knows?
right now they're elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the next one is the 1.0 elementary instructional assistant. So, when we did our budget last year, again, we're budgeting months ahead of time, so we're not sure what the needs are. We budgeted 30.5 instructional assistants for the district. The needs arose where we had to hire one more, so that person is currently hired and, working for us. So it's just maintaining that person or that position. We're not looking to add a new position for next year.
And where did the funding come from for that?
When I talked about when we hired staff last year, principals did a really good job. So within the instructional services line, we had money left over for that position. Again, we had to add it because of the needs of the student, and being a bottom line budget for the instructional, salaries, that we were able to fit that position in.
So again, it's not a new
So-
employee, this is just an
Correct.
additional salary.
Correct. Salary was just continued on from this year,
Okay.
but not a new employee.
is instructional assistant a new word for teacher's aide?
Yep,
Yeah.
the same thing.
Teacher's aides?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so Mark, if I could just say something. So I'm still confused by this.
Yeah.
Me
And,
too.
and the reason I bring it up is because last night Mark had said that it was hired. I didn't recall it, and then I looked at my budget last year, and then, I don't know, 11:30 last night, I'm texting Mark saying, I owe you an apology because I believe that it was included, and so I wanted to clear the record because I thought it was included, but now you just said that it wasn't included and that you repurposed also. Now I'm very confused.
All right,
'cause
sorry.
I
That's why I
have-
asked the question. I
have
said,
no
are you
problem
talking about this
apologizing if I
position?
misled
Yeah, and I don't
someone last
either.
night, but I thought that I understood it last night when I emailed you, and now I'm more confused, so.
That's all right. So we went into last year's budget with budgeting 30.5 instructional assistants. And again, we approved that budget in, town meeting. During the school year, this past year, over the summer, we had student move in that we needed to hire another person. So we hired that person within the instructional line, and we had money that we could appropriate to that position. So we've added that position the same way, because of the needs of the student. Not because we just said, oh, we've got to throw another position in
So
there.
this is
So
like
you
a
have money.
one-on-one?
So you already have the money, so
Yeah.
you're not asking
Yeah,
for money for
I'm not
this?
asking, no more money. And not
But
enough.
no
But
benefits,
money
no
over
money.
last year's budget. So technically, yes, but it's in our we're paying for it this year, but, we only budgeted the 30.5, so we want to make sure it's understood that we're at 31.5. But the money
But you
is
said
kind of
you
a
had the
wash.
money last year, so
So, yeah.
it's not adding more money this year?
Correct, but you're gonna have money included in budget to budget, yes. There'll be one more instructional assistant FTE, and that salary is included in the FY '27 budget. It was not included in the FY '26 budget because at the time, we didn't know that we would have a student that needed.
But it technically
additional.
was there because you had the money to fund it.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, because
But
some
it
of the
wasn't in
people we
our,
hired
our.
Got it.
our-
It wasn't in the FTEs.
Got it.
Or the salary for that.
For
So
example.
you moved money from someplace else.
Right.
Within the
to
line.
cover it.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
For example, if this summer, the needs aren't there and we only need to hire 30.5, the budget for this year would still show 31.5, but
Yeah.
we're only employing 30.5.
Got
So
it.
in these positions, there is a lot of potential to fluctuate. unlike a fifth grade teacher.
Yeah,
know,
well,
we
somebody
would-
can move in or out. Or,
Right.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Are you mandated by the state to have so many instructional assistants per classroom, or?
Well, inclusion classroom, so on their IEP, it'll state whether it needs to be a teacher or an instructional assistant or support staff. But there are some that have it required in terms of one-to-one, or what we will often do is call it enhanced staff, so it's not dedicated for one adult to be with that one child, so they may see more than one, to give us some flexibility. But yes, there are definitely mandates for the numbers that we have. And I think, if you looked at our numbers and you compared it out to, percentage-wise, I still think we're probably pretty low. All of them are special education except for the kindergarten. We have a kindergarten IA in each classroom. But the rest are all special education.
Do they teach, or do they just
They
sort
do
of
not
help?
teach. They're on a different salary scale. Next, on the flip side, so it's listed as 0.6 Howard Reading Specialist, but if you look just below, we are proposing to use Title I funds, which are decreasing this year due to the Massachusetts poverty level going down. So our Title I won't be below 85% of this past year, so it's going to go down around 15,000. So we didn't know that when we started building the budget, but we do know that now. But we're going to put 0.2 of Title I money towards this, so we're only asking for 0.4 money for the reading specialist.
Did you just say the Massachusetts poverty level went down?
It did. It went down from I want to say 1.79 to 1.45, but it did decrease. And that's, Title I's a federal.
Quite surprising.
I
Yeah,
find that is very surprising.
I know. So that is a 0.4 position in our budget, but it'll be 0.6. And when you look at 0.4, to 0.6, what that usually means, and this is not the same for our nurse, because we want the nurse there every day, but for example, the OT, the benefit is going from 0.4, which is 2 days a week, to 0.8, which is 4 days a week. So the reading specialist will still have to work out the schedule with the candidate, but it could be, every day for a certain amount of time, or it could be 3 days a week, so at full time.
And what's the cost on
Yep.
that?
We're estimating that to be $28,989.
And that's a new employee as well?
Would be a new.
Correct.
Is that special needs? Or-
Well, they will see special needs students. They'll have to see Title I students as well, because the Title I requirements of funding, they have to see those students at least 0.2% of the time. But it's special needs, but it's also regular education students as well. It's really designed for our struggling readers.
Which is disappointingly high.
I mean, and unfortunately, we have that one reading specialist at the Roselle, but they're seeing, 32, 34 students a year. Again, about 10%, a little bit higher than 10%, which is which is kind of average for your tier intervention.
So how much does a reading specialist, how much time do they spend with
They
a
would-
student,
That
any given student?
they're going to pull them out of areas. They'll
Yeah.
pull them out of certain blocks. They'll
Mhm.
work with them intensively on reading strategies.
Mhm.
And they'll also do some push-in time into the classroom. So they'll work with kids in the classroom, but they'll do pull-out services as
So
well.
every day there's kids getting help
Nah,
or not?
it wouldn't be every kid every day that they're seeing, and they would have a very specific group.
Hmm.
I'll tell you, one of the problems we'll have with this position will be space of where we're going to house them at the Howard School. We have really no available space there, but we'll find a space. It'll be grouped in with other.
And yet our reading numbers are low.
And that's, therefore we need the reading specialist.
I wonder, I don't want to digress too much,
Yeah.
but I'd be curious to understand why kids aren't reading.
Yeah, it's a
Is it-
Teaching
good
fundamentals.
Is it home life, or what?
question. Probably a combination of things.
It's a combination of a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they're reading now is more difficult and a higher level than it's ever been.
Phones.
Well, the protocol changed for reading what.
Science of reading they were using, yep.
Yeah, they've changed a lot of things.
The next one is expanding our music program. This music teacher was 5 or 6 years ago at a 1.0. It's been down to a 0.5. And it's really due to the increase in course signups, up 19% over the last 2 years, as well as the enrollments increased 18% in the classes, and our course classes have really doubled. And we
What
right
level
now
is this?
this is
Is
high
this
school,
high
middle
school?
school and high school. So right now we have 2.5 music teachers for grades 7 to 12, so 1.0, and that's also teaching band, chorus, and 2 middle school exploratories. So that takes away from a lot of electives for students, and we want to try to enrich our students' experiences through the arts.
So where is this 19%? Like, what are they not going to take because they're taking music?
These are high school courses,
Mhm.
so they have the ability to sign up for any of their elective courses. So they could be art, music, computers, could be phys ed electives. They also could be electives in any of the core areas. They could be science electives or social studies electives. So
So they might not take a science class to take music, is that?
well, they
Essentially.
have 8 courses,
Mhm.
and they have a 4-year requirement in English, math, science, and
Mhm.
social studies.
Mhm.
So they, especially at the upper level, they do have more opportunity to take elective
I
courses.
think what it's saying is there's an increase of interest for this
Mhm.
from the students
Right.
themselves.
Yeah, but I guess if I was gonna take, I don't know, math at 10 o'clock in the morning, now I'm gonna do music, like I'm coming from somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're taking 8 courses.
Mhm.
You're taking 4 a day in our block schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But the numbers, you're absolutely correct, the numbers have increased. When we looked at the
Mhm.
course signups over the past few years,
Mhm.
there's been a significant increase, and that's good. I think that's good for our
Yeah,
program.
I understand. I guess I'm just wondering what's down. What are they not
Yeah,
signing up for
I
because
understand
they're
what you're saying.
signing?
You have the same amount of students, so if you
Right.
have a 19% increase somewhere, you must have a 90% decrease somewhere else.
Right.
But
is
it's
what
not
she-
all in
that's what
one
she's trying to
place.
say.
Right.
Correct, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
not asking if it's all in one place,
Right,
she's
right.
just saying what is going down.
Right.
Yeah. Is there any, like, overarching place, or are they just one
Not
here,
that I'm
one there?
aware of.
Mm.
I didn't look at
Like
that. I looked at
French
a
or-
few I've looked at a few different
Mhm.
electives, but I didn't look overall to see where they've gone down.
Mm.
Some of the, elective courses have really high enrollment, so this may drop some of that,
Mhm.
and balance some.
Okay.
And then the last one, instructional technology, is the 1.0. Oh, sorry, that music position is
Yeah,
12.
It's $12,340. It's an existing teacher who currently does not take our insurance.
So they're gonna go from like a 0.5 to a
0.5 to
0.8 or
0.7.
0.5 to 0.7.
And that's divided over 40 hours? Is that how you figure what a .1 is?
No,
or
it's
0.2?
at the high school schedule, it's different than the elementary schedule, so it's a number of courses that they'll teach. So 0.7 will be, in the contract, I believe it's 4 full-year courses, or that could be 8 half-year courses. So it's basically going from 3 to 4, is the change.
And what drives the money then on that? Just,
Of the teacher's contract
Yeah.
salary.
which is per hour or?
No, it's per visit, per
It's a salary.
step and track.
So
I
they
think
would
you've
take
seen
a
the grid.
full-time
Yeah,
step and
yeah.
track, whatever,
Yeah, we do
and
it.
multiply it by
Exactly.
0.7,
And
and
it's
that's what they
different
get.
for every teacher, depending what you're teaching?
The salary
No,
scale is
it's
the
different
same.
For how long you have been
Right.
here and what level you came in at.
So a
Mhm.
math
Yeah.
teacher doesn't make
Education,
more than a social studies teacher?
No,
Yeah.
a master's makes more than a
Social studies would make
bachelor's,
way
yeah.
more
Right.
than that.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
Okay,
And then the instructional technology for the library media specialist is a new position, not currently in the contract. And I've explained some of the information on that as well.
So two questions, how much is
Yeah.
that?
72,473. This position we budgeted from master's step 5 on the salary scale. Someone, they're probably gonna already have a master's, most likely in this type of position.
hmm,
I encourage them to hire below that, but
And I tell you, we've done well. And that was part of the reason we could hire without any issues when we looked at the salaries of each of the ones we hired last year.
I'm curious how you think you can get one. You couldn't hire one before. You think they're just available
We're hoping.
now?
I mean, and I tell you, the reason, could we have hired someone before? Yes. but they weren't gonna be the candidate that we wanted. We want someone that's gonna serve the purpose of being in the library, having those skills, but also instructional technology. And I think if we hire one without the other, I think it's a disservice, and I wouldn't support hiring a person that didn't fit the needs. I would rather go without than hire someone who's just gonna do one area and not both. And I think to me, the more critical area is instructional technology and digital literacy.
So, but you have your accreditation is at risk if you don't
It
find
is.
somebody?
Well, not
I
till
mean,
2030.
Not till, I mean, there is
Just saying,
time.
guys.
Say that again?
There is
Not till
time.
2030, that's.
So
and
they
that's
would,
When they're gonna show up again.
they would
2028
unaccredit
and-
the school over one
No,
position?
I don't want to be hyperbolic and say
Yeah,
they won't
yeah.
do that. You know, we
No.
may, it would be a finding. So again, I don't want to over exaggerate. It's something that they have as one of their standards, and it's important. And honestly, you know, the reason we made the decision to move to the library, the TV, was I felt that that was best for kids at the time when we couldn't find someone. I felt we got more bang for our buck, we had more kids engaged, and we couldn't find the person. So I'd rather keep that. At that point, I said I want to keep the money there, and therefore we waited a few years. And I said, you know, we're getting closer. We want to make sure we comply with NEASC and their regulations, but we also want to do what's best for kids. And I respect. I really value that, what's best for kids.
Do we have a librarian now?
No, we have no one in that position.
We don't, yeah.
So just my kind of last little take, so I feel that the library media specialist is more of a want than a need. Because again, it's premature. This isn't something we have to do now. And it says it right here, it's for the 2028 self-evaluation when you have to start getting your ducks in a row, as they say. for
Well, that leads me to
2030.
ask over the next couple of years.
Right, so again,
What
if
do you
it's-
expect? Do you expect to add more staff over the next couple of years? Are you gonna ask for more staff? Or?
It's a good question. I think we will eventually need staff for growing classroom grades. You know, for example, if first grade, you know, gets to a point where we need to add a staff there. So I think,
What
but
would
we
that
don't
be,
need that
though?
right now.
Like
So-
a regular teacher?
like a regular classroom teacher. I think, you know, if we look at our past experiences, we've added mental health staff over the years. We haven't asked for that in a couple of years because I think we've got staffed to a point where we're sufficiently staffed, both at the elementary and at the secondary level. At the elementary level, we do have one of our adjustment counselors on the behavioral health grant, so that's concerning. But for next year, if that grant does go away, we are prepared to have one elementary adjustment counselor that will go between buildings. So we're not looking to add that, and then we'll reevaluate it. We've added over the years to our ML staff, and I think that we've sufficiently added. I say only, it's 81 students. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're traveling to 4 different buildings with 4 different schedules, and the mandated time, it's a lot. We've added to our OT and our speech over the years. We're not looking to add any more there. Again, if we get a higher growth in population, student needs, yes. But I think we've asked for and we've received it, and we're grateful for that. And I think we don't need to add any more there. So I can't guarantee we won't ask, but I think in these areas, we're good. And we're not seeing any major needs.
What is an adjustment counselor?
So adjustment counselor
do?
is different than a guidance counselor. So an adjustment counselor will work with students who are having, emotional needs, school avoidance concerns, behavioral concerns. And really we have one right now we have one at Roselle and one at Howard. The one at Howard is paid for out of the grant. And we have a school psychologist at both schools, which is beneficial because it's providing a high level of service for needs within the district, but they can also do
Are
testing.
they clinical psychologists?
They do clinical
Like
testing. Yep.
Going outside, if I went to see a therapist, to be the same
I
kind
mean,
of.
they have they're licensed to do testing and things like that. So yes, if that's.
Do you have a grant writer that does that full-time on staff?
We don't have a grant writer. We do write, grants, and we have received grants. We've worked with the police department for the grant for the elementary cameras. Our nurse and our director of curriculum have worked on the behavioral health grant. We're always looking for
I
grant
wonder if a
opportunities.
grant writer would pay for themselves.
I know there's one in the town. I
I
think
was
the
gonna
town.
say, does she have
Well,
capacity to help?
particularly for the special ed stuff. I think there's funding out there that,
There's
We could
entitlement
probably
grants,
some
and there's
advantage
ones that have certain criteria that we may or may not match. We just got a timeout, the timeout grant for
42,
40
41,000,
Yeah.
43, some
And what's that for?
Behavioral.
from some training for staff, for some materials, a lot of professional development, so it's beneficial. So we're always looking for opportunities, we're always looking for safety opportunities, we're also special education, anything that's out there we'll grab.
Again, back to the psychologist, I know most families have their own health insurance. Are we paying for something that they could take outside to outside counseling services?
No, we're paying for the needs they have in school. A lot of times we'll work with counselors from outside if we have signed agreements,
Right.
but there's needs within the school that are serious, and kids are struggling. I think more so than ever. I think a lot of it's with technology, but I think with the supports we have, like I said, are good. They're sufficient. Could always add, but I'm not asking to add. But I think, we're not looking to go backwards, and I think the needs are being addressed with the counselors that we have.
Would you consider going back to the halftime TV production and to help fund the media
Well,
specialist?
if we go to halftime, then we'll lose the halftime from the TV studio. So that's part of their agreement is
Oh, it's a
if they provide half, then we'll match that half.
Mhm.
And I think that would be somewhat of a disservice. I know that in a comprehensive high school, we lack hands-on graphic arts for our kids, and I think that's a great opportunity. We have a thriving morning show that does a morning newscast every day. They produce a lot of content.
Mhm.
So I think if we drop that down, that would be 3 less courses, and more likely than not, that'd be our higher-end courses that we lose.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of information. Does anybody have other questions?
What's it-
Question more of a statement, it's just that you have to hire these other positions. It sounds like a lot of it's outside your control. The medical needs, the occupational needs, speech and language needs, it's a lot.
It is, and I think that's kind of the overarching thought is that, whether they're the, test scores or preparing our students for the future, medical needs, IEP needs.
This is just dealing with the medical side.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to the academic side.
Yeah.
And how do we, again, go back and how are we doing? We've got these people doing this stuff. How do we measure how the kids are doing?
Well, I think MCAS is one
Test
barometer, but I
scores.
also look at our students and, when they graduate and what they're doing, and I
Yeah.
think they're successful. I think they enjoy school. I think they're proud of their school. I know that, again, looking at school choice, we have people that want to come
Yeah.
to West Bridgewater because it's
I know
it's
it's
a
hard-
great
it's
community.
hard to
There's
measure
great
these things.
teachers, and we
Yeah.
got great kids, we're,
and our
great administrators.
graduation rate is good.
It's really good. Yeah, we're,
Some of us
99.
did okay.
Wait to see that before.
And we understand that we're, a department of the town. And again, I think it's just what is different with us is we have these needs that, not all departments have. Things change and we've got to adjust to those changes to meet the needs of our students. And again, that's a difficult conversation to have because we know there's a dollar amount attached to that need, and we respect that. But we also want to do what's best for all of our kids and make sure they're as successful as possible.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
we
I guess it
use?
comes down in the end to whether we can pay for it or not pay for
Yeah.
it.
Can we use the extra money we budgeted last year for Norfolk where those kids didn't go to fund these new positions? Cause that's $170,000 right there.
I mean, we have, right now we're prepared to, give back money to the town.
You wouldn't be able to
You
switch
can't
fiscal
roll it.
years.
Yeah.
Hmm?
You can't switch fiscal years.
Yeah, but it's already in the budget, 460, right?
No, you're saying, no.
Right, but she took
from
it out
last
of
year.
this
Oh, she
budget.
took it out, okay.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
I know
appreciate
it's
your
a lot.
time.
I know it's a lot. I know it's a
I
lot of
didn't screw up the
questions.
presentation, so that
So
was
us
good.
Kathy, thank you so much, Kathy, too, because I know you were the backbone too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We still have more budgets.
Yeah, we can go through these pretty quick.
Okay.
I don't want to
Thank you, guys.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
All right, have a
Thank
good
you,
rest of your
Kathy.
night. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Okay, we did the education. So are you doing all these? Okay.
I don't even know where I am now.
No, I don't know where the
The bottom
pages
of
are.
the pile.
Thank you.
Dancing, freaking out.
I've got everything.
All right.
all messed
I
up
have
here.
no idea where my,
You should keep on, yeah, keep going. It should be after that.
Is the moderator on?
Unless
I
it
think
gets
I
to
might have
mine.
got them out later.
Okay. No, they're not the beginning.
Maybe I'll look on with Mo.
I'm all screwed up.
It's actually,
Oh, you know what, you-
pretty slim.
That's
Oh,
Southeastern,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Is that
Rearranged
mine?
everything.
No, that's Mo's. I think it's in here.
I
It's
had
just
a
What are you
there.
looking
extra
for?
copy of the
My
silver.
other
Do you want
budget.
the second half of
They're at the
mine?
bottom.
I was gonna say,
That's okay.
It's
I'll
right
look
there.
on it, Dave's.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
I'll get
good.
closer.
These are easy ones anyways. Go for it.
All right, so the moderator budget, just leaving it the same year over year, so that's level funded.
Okay.
The Board of Selectmen's budget is basically the exact same. It has the contractual changes up top, and then in the middle, you'll see that we do a 3-year contract with our auditor. And so therefore, that represents that increase.
Is
Who
that
do we
the
use?
auditor, the 5%? Oh.
Who do we use for auditing?
What do we use?
Who?
Oh, it's Bob Brown.
Hmm.
He's out of Millis. So
Okay.
we've used him for years. And because our budgets have grown and because we also receive more grants, there's also more, the fee goes up. So we compare it to other towns to make sure we're getting a good deal, but at the end of the day, we pay for it, that audits the entire town, school, and water.
Okay.
Is that the 165? No.
No, that's,
What line is that?
5302.
Oh, that's,
33,700.
$33.7. That's
yeah,
33.
what's appointed officials up there? The 5% appointed officials?
That's the auditor.
Nope, the 5%, I'm so sorry, so 5112 appointed officials, that is a combination of Christine and Linda.
Oh.
Okay.
Then there's a 16% down. That's the auditor.
That's auditing
is correct.
services?
Yeah.
Oh.
And everything
Thank
else
you.
is flat?
That is correct.
Got it. I found my pages.
Thank you.
Finance committee, just,
We didn't go up.
No. We're
Reserve
very,
fund.
very lean.
we are, reserve fund, we'll just keep it the same.
Okay. We haven't really used that the last couple of years, right?
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Okay.
Insurances will budget a 6% increase. The reality is it starts on July 1st, and I say this every year, is that I do high deductible plans.
Yeah.
So I need to keep money in there, because some of our deductibles will go up to 15 to 20,000, depending on what the issue is. We don't use it a lot, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But,
You think 6%'s enough?
yeah,
'Cause
6%.
I know, like, my car insurance went up a lot, and I
Yeah.
don't have any tickets or anything.
Mine did too,
Need
but
to
if
find
you
new
look at,
insurance.
for example, town meeting approved
Just got a
104,
100%
Yeah.
increase on long-term care
and we'll go up
insurance.
that 6%.
100%.
Yeah.
It's 82,000. We still have another bill to pay in that, so that's probably about 95,000.
Okay,
So
we're
that
good.
gives me one or two medium-sized deductibles or one large deductible.
Okay.
Sealer of rates, just doing the 3% increase on the top line, and then, nothing else.
Okay.
Veterans, this is a little bit, it looks a little funky, but I want to call your attention to something. So what we did for the end of FY '25 is that you'll see that we were spending $40,000 between two people. And so we reduced that in this past year's budget. And we hired somebody, and when we hired that person at 11.5. But it was after the start of the fiscal year. So
Oh.
that's why that line didn't reflect what we knew, because we couldn't know we were gonna pay the person. So in essence, what we did was, although it shows 11.5, so it looks like an increase in that line, you'll see the next line down is we're saving $31,000. So, and we combined two positions into one.
And so we can just do that. We don't need two people.
We do not need two people.
He does a
Okay.
good job, too.
No, I mean, I can, yep. So, I mean, just to prove that, just to show you, is if you look at line 5777, in fiscal year 2025, we paid out exactly $0 in benefits. In this current year, we have paid out $414 in benefits. We are required by state law to carry a veterans officer. We are not required by law to carry a secretarial administrative staff. That's why we were to combine it and know that we could cover it since we're not paying out a lot.
Yeah, well, we want the veterans to get what they need, though.
1,000%. And the person is extremely qualified and does a nice job.
He does a
Great.
good job, yeah.
Veterans Memorial Day, the parade will not be this year in the town. So as you know, this budget is volatile depending on whether or not we hold it every 3 years.
Okay,
The Historical Commission will just stay level funded.
okay.
In the benefits budget, this will not be the exact dollar amount. The contributory retirement, I just received it after we printed this, but that has been at 8.25%, which it will be again this year. The health insurance, we said got rated at 10%, so I'm hoping that I can drop that a little. I just gotta make sure, because remember, even though it went up 10%, if I picked up one or two more people,
Yeah.
that's going to
That's gonna
increase
be-
the percentage.
Mhm.
So I have to look at that, and then,
So do we have a lot of claims? Is that what's driving that?
I do not know the specific answer, but I can tell you that when I've looked at it in the past and it was low, because we've been averaging around a 5% increase, our claims were low. To try to get a better cost is that we are a member of the Mayflower Group, and there's about 22 or 23 of us.
Yeah.
So again, there's supposed to be powers and numbers.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, what that does mean is that if another town has a
Yeah, yeah,
multi-million-dollar
yeah,
cancer
there is.
claim,
Yeah.
we still get that.
yeah.
Their risk is lower because they've been able to mitigate that with others.
Mhm.
So whether or not that claim could have been ours this year or not, I do not know.
So do they spread the increase evenly over the participants in the Mayflower? Or does each town vary based on the utilization?
I believe each town varies based on its participation rate.
Oh, okay.
Do teachers contribute to the health insurance?
Yes. Yep, the town-wide, on the single plan, it is 75-25, town and individual. And on the family plan, we're at 65-35.
It's around $500-600 a month and contributory.
I mean, you can probably go down if you go to
$500
the
a month.
state plan, but it's not a great plan, I don't think.
GIC, you might be able to save some on premiums, but GIC is 75-25.
No, I just mean the premiums might be lower, but the benefits are also a lot lower, I
They
think,
are.
right?
Yeah.
And they continue into retirement too, is that right?
So
To a
if you,
point, yeah.
yep, if you retire before you're 65, then that's what that OPEB benefit
Right.
is.
Yeah.
But then at 65, then you'll be forced to go on to Medicare.
Right.
Mhm.
Ugh.
That's it?
That's all your
That was
budget.
fast.
So, I say this every year, I'll say it again. Congratulations. You have now met with every single department head, heard from every single budget. Your budget hearing process is now complete. So we will, on April 2nd, will be your next meeting. On April 1st, I will put all this budget together and present to the Board of Selectmen.
That's on April Fool's Day?
I know, April
Sorry.
Fool's Day. And so we will present a budget. I'm required to provide a balanced budget to the selectmen, which they will then vote on. And then that budget will then come to you the following day on April 2nd. You will then vote on your recommendation. And then your next meeting after that will be on April 23rd. It was originally going to be on April 16th.
Yeah.
But the selectmen had to move their meeting, so on April 23rd,
schedule.
you will then be voting on warrant articles and your recommendations on those, which would include capital budget. By the way, that was in here.
It was.
Yeah, did you want to take a quick peek at that? We
This,
can.
the capital budget?
Yeah, the capital budget should be, I put it
I
on the
didn't see it,
agenda.
I didn't see the sheet, I saw it on the
Really?
line, I saw it as a line item.
It's on
On
the
the agenda.
Yeah, it's on
It
here, but I
was-
don't think there's a paperwork
Oh, it
for
is on the agenda. I didn't
Did
see
you
it.
read already?
We did.
Oh.
I know we sent it out by email.
I didn't see it.
So many
What I
pages.
can,
There's
yeah,
a
it was
lot.
definitely sent out by email.
There's a
Yeah,
lot,
it's sorry.
people were looking for a lot of stuff.
So what I can do is, if you wanna, let me run upstairs and I can make that, it's a one page.
Yeah,
So let me
can
make
do
that
you mind?
photocopy.
Cause I think we should probably at least give people a heads up of what people are asking
Take a
for.
peek.
Thank you.
Just gotta stand.
There's a lot of pages in here.
It's in the memo. Yeah, it was like 4+ million.
Yeah,
How much was it?
over 4 million. Yeah, well, there's one big thing. The fire department
There's
was
two,
looking
yeah.
for a ladder truck. I think it was 1.7
Yeah,
and an
1.7,
ambulance, so that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
The ambulance isn't that old.
No,
It's
it's
a-
the second
it's the second.
ambulance. We have two. We replaced one. This is the second one.
How
I
old
said
is
the
the
same
second?
thing, Cheryl. I was
How
like,
old
didn't
is
we
the
just buy
second
one?
18 years
We
old.
have that third one that was housed over in Easton. What happened to
Huh?
that one?
Oh, geez, I don't know. We talked about two. Do we have a third one?
I think they got
don't
rid
know.
of that one, didn't they?
It was kind
A
of
couple of years
shared.
ago.
Yeah.
Maybe they sold it for like $8,000 or something like that. And I just, but yeah, that was a lot. And then front end loader.
Yeah, there was a
for
front end loader.
the PVW.
Staircase here.
And
The
that- that's
staircase out
Oh,
here was a
that
big one. That
that amount of
was
money.
almost
the-
800,000.
What?
Do a staircase?
This one out here, this,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
$928,000.
we've put that off for years.
Yeah.
It's definitely,
789.
I like the creaky sound.
I know, right? You
Yeah, go
know
for a
when
walk.
people
Let
are
me go see you do it
coming.
right now, Mom.
You know when
I
people
grew
are
up-
coming.
And our town hall was ancient too, and I remember the creaky stairs. And how about the front stairs, the concrete?
That's what I thought they were
Well, I
gonna
don't know
replace.
the
and
first
it
one. 'Cause that's
ended
a
up being
mess.
inside.
You would know
I was
more
like,
than I
No, I know the means of
Like, how
big.
much for that? 800?
It was
I-
in
don't
that
quote me, but I wanna
neighborhood.
say it was like 928.
Oh, it could be,
That's
ni-
like
yeah,
two
it could have been
exits.
9, yeah.
That's crazy.
You have
He's
to have
gonna
two
bring it
points of
down.
exit in case of
And
fire.
then, so that was that. There was, a cruiser,
Can't block it off.
radios for
Final.
both
Yeah,
the
yeah,
police and the
radios for the
fire.
Somewhere, whether it's
Fire
there
and
or
police.
new case, staircase somewhere.
I
else.
feel like
different
there was
areas.
something else for the fire department.
Clothing.
Yeah.
It's my day job, got it.
Oh, it's
Protect-
fast stuff.
Protective clothing.
Yeah, and then there was school stuff.
And school, I don't think the school.
The school wasn't bad,
Yeah, school
but-
wasn't bad.
A sidewalk at Roselle.
Yeah, there was a sidewalk, there was a.
They wanted to add vestibules or
what do you
something.
call
Yes,
that?
there's a
They
study
wanted
Tile.
to look at
30,000 for a.
Sally ports
What
or
do you call
something.
Sally
They're
port,
called,
isn't
like,
it?
I was like,
Yeah,
what
but
is that?
that's just the 30,000 they want is just for whatever
Just
it
to
is prior
study.
to, study it.
Yeah, just a study.
I forget what it's
Like
called.
evaluate, a Sally port or something it's
Yeah,
called?
no,
Yeah, I know,
these-
but I'm saying the 30,000 was only to
Look at
into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look into
And
not
then-
actually do
what's
it.
the
And
word
get the
for that?
estimates for what
Yes.
it would be.
Correct,
for the Sally ports?
yeah,
30 grand?
yeah.
Just for
Just
the
to study, like,
a
figure out what they wanna do.
analysis, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
We did it with the school.
Yeah.
Engineering?
Oh, really?
I don't know,
Whatever.
yeah.
We'll
I
find
forget
out
what
in
it's
5
called.
minutes.
And
Yeah.
then, so there's sidewalk.
Fire department,
Tile.
fire alarm systems
Yeah.
in Howard,
Oh,
and,
the
no,
speaker,
Roselle
you
and
know, like,
the
Yeah, they're tired of yelling into the cup.
there was
Yeah.
fire, fire.
Intercom
Officers
system.
again.
Oh, yeah.
Spring
yeah,
Street
the
and
intercom,
Roselle.
yeah, the
Yep.
intercom,
Fire
yeah,
alarms.
the fire alarms, and then some computers,
It was all Roselle and Spring Street
and phone system,
was what they were
a new
asking for.
phone system. I was like, can't you put
Didn't we
the
just get
phones
one?
and the
What's
the
that?
Phone
the
system?
Well, the phone system
intercom
was for-
all together, and they were
8
like,
years
no.
ago.
Yeah, there was two different things.
It's out of
Yeah.
life.
Huh?
It's out of life. It's like you can't get the parts
Can't
anymore.
dial a number and,
You can dial, but you can't, if it breaks, you can't get new ones.
Yeah, they said, yeah, I think it's the,
I
what it's
Planned
called.
I thought that
obsolescence.
was
Yeah.
expensive as well, though.
Yeah, I did
'Cause it
too.
was expensive to put in and then it was expensive to keep.
Yeah,
It's,
50K
it's
a
a,
year
it's
just
a
for the
cloud-based
plans. Yeah, it's
phone
crazy.
I
system.
thought that was high.
Yeah,
When everybody in
Cloud-based.
the world has one of these on them.
yeah, I don't know.
Exactly,
I don't
right.
understand it.
But there's no reception, they say, in the schools, like there's
There is
no
not.
You still
signal.
There's still no reception.
Depends where I am in my house. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We did pretty good remembering everything
Yes,
on
we
the
did.
list.
Not bad, right? Not bad at all.
Paid attention.
Not bad for the
All right, thank you so much.
meeting of the week. Thanks.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Thank you. Did you
I
get
said
one,
9, so
Cheryl?
There you go.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, here.
No, you're okay.
You're good.
Feasibility
Isn't it?
study.
Done.
Yeah.
Feasibility.
I don't need to kill any more trees.
It's right here, yeah. I didn't come up with it, I just.
No,
So the-
I thought you just came
I
up
won't
with
take
that,
the
so.
credit, but.
So
that
the
was
phone
bothering me.
system's 108,000, and that was 50-something for the annual plan, and 50-something for the actual new phones and
Correct.
stuff.
What's an annual plan do for you?
Well,
on
it's a
phones?
cloud-based system, so it's like as a license fee. I know, we
Yeah.
were
It's
in the
outside of
court, like, can't you
Verizon and
just
all of
plug it
that?
in
Yes,
the
there's no
wall?
copper line.
The front end
So-
loader for the DPW, I forget the age, it's old, right? It was old.
28, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really old. And they
I don't
said
know,
it's
20
kind of
old.
breaking down, and if they have to rent one during a storm, and we only have one, you're not gonna be able to find one. And then this way, they can keep the old one at the salt shed. Am I remembering this right?
Yes.
At the
So
salt
it can
shed
rot into
to
the
load
salt.
things, and then they can use the other front end loader around wherever they need
Correct.
it.
For
Yeah, I could be making that up, but I
No,
don't think
No,
so.
you had that
you're
right.
And then townwide, the water department continues to replace water meters, and, there's some additional engineering, which I felt like we've engineered the water department to death, but there's additional engineering on, Sur and Norman, but I feel like the 100 and the 200,000 was gonna come out of their surplus.
Yes.
Am I remembering that right? Okay. And then portable radios for the fire department, have reached the end of life. They said that they're starting to break down, you can't get batteries,
Yeah.
as you said, designed obsolescence. 430,000 for the ambulance, 1.7 for the ladder truck. But David has a really good idea on how to fund that, so we can talk about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want everybody to see this and ask some questions.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect the ladder truck to survive,
Yeah,
but I just want to caution everybody that right now, the capital budget committee has not met to vote on it yet.
right.
And then the selectmen have not reviewed it, because something or some of these, I mean, maybe all of them, I have no idea. But we don't know what's gonna come at the end of April after the selectmen review
Right.
it, so.
Correct.
But to answer your question, on the ladder truck, I would look to do it, we have $4.3 million of free cash.
I was gonna ask you that, yeah.
No, you're okay. No, look, there are two things that have really driven our free cash, is growth, especially with the warehouses. So we got the bulk of the growth this past year, because our free cash usually has been 2.75 to 3 million. It was the largest number we've ever had. So that was fantastic. The second part, so that's not gonna happen every year.
It's
No.
like a one-time,
Um,
yeah.
And then the second part to that is we still continue to benefit from high interest rates on the money that sits in the bank. So in 2020, we generated $30,000 of income on interest. In this past year, we generated $750,000 in
Wow.
interest, doing nothing, just
Nice.
at the
What do
money.
you
So
get, high-risk gold? or-
no.
No.
We're barred, there's,
I know.
It's
we-
conservative,
We
but
did
you-
our
you-
condo
yeah.
We can't put it in the
association
mo-
today and realized it has to be in CDs.
Mm.
I mean, you have to do it that way.
Mm.
we can't do that.
Has to be
We can't put it-
restricted.
We can't put it in the Mo McCarthy IRA.
No,
High risk yield.
Cayman Islands
But it's
address.
good to note that those things are not like repeatable. I mean, we,
No, they're one-trick ponies, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we thought going
That's
into the year
amazing.
that the Fed
700
would cut rates
grand.
multiple times.
Yeah.
I think with some geopolitical risks that are going on, the Fed met yesterday, doesn't look like they'll cut as much,
Mm.
but again, that's gonna be volatile.
Right.
And we know that the new supposed Fed chair is looking to cut. So if they do cut, it's gonna be great for all of you if you wanna refinance mortgages and all that, but for anybody that holds money in the
Savers,
bank,
yeah.
then the money's gonna go down, so it'll
Mm.
affect our free cash. Police at Cruiser, and then they have similar radios. Theirs are purchased about the same time, but they are a little bit different. That's why they're less expensive, because the fire department ones have a different rating.
They have
So
to be
it's
fireproof.
With the heat and all that jazz.
two things, heat rated and water rated.
Yeah.
So can I just say, so because the selectmen haven't voted on this yet, and neither has the,
Yeah,
you
these
know,
are just
capital
what
budget
they
requests,
brought
why-
before us.
So what are we doing with this tonight? We're just
Nothing.
talking about it?
Just to
It's
informational.
informational.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Just
because
wanted
to be
make
honest
sure.
with you, there was a request that in the past, if, say we had 10 requests,
Yep,
and 7 made it through, you never knew what the 3 were.
got it.
And so the request this year was, can we at least just see what they
Perfect.
all were before
love
we
it.
get to that?
Great, thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
It's just more transparency
I love
and,
it.
you know,
We have to know how
Information.
much we've got to spend too, right?
yeah.
Can't just approve them
yeah.
all and,
Right. So, the next thing was the building department has an old Ford Taurus? Am I remembering that right?
Yep.
And it's on its, like,
Yep.
way
Mm.
past its
They haven't-
last
they haven't
leg.
been using it.
Yeah, he hasn't even been
It's-
driving it, cause
It's up on block
so bad.
somewhere.
It's
Yeah.
really, I think, right behind you.
It's
it's an
so
old
bad.
police car, right?
The idea was at one time, we said we're gonna try to do a pool car. I worked in another town where you would have multiple pool cars, but you didn't use hand-me-downs. We tried it. Like, we gave ourselves an opportunity to legitimately try to save some money.
Mm.
There's a reason why the police department retire their vehicles. They just get used. And so from day one, the seat didn't really work, you couldn't really adjust it, there was other issues. Remember, on police cars, you can't get in and out of the back seat, because they're locked.
Mm.
And so we spent some money on it, it continued to break down, it was uncomfortable. So our building inspector, has been using his own vehicle, and, similar to what the normal protocol is, we thought it was right to look at giving him a proper vehicle. And also, I think from your standpoint as a resident, is that when he or she shows up, that it should be marked, so that way you really legitimately know as to who is looking there to access
Won't
your
be
house.
setting the dogs on them.
Yeah. I think this has come up for several years and we've been putting it off as well, right?
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The front stairs to the town hall here, this building is, as everyone knows, very old. And there's a lot of structural stuff going on there where you can't get in. What is that room you can't get
It's the
into?
historical.
Oh, the historical commission room. It's sort of halfway up the stairs and you can't really get in there because it's not really safe, and they're just not safe, right?
Yeah, so that's a part of it, but that wasn't our primary focus. So we looked at doing this a handful of years ago. Mary, you might have been on the board at the time. We originally thought we would spend about $50,000 on a feasibility study to do it. It doesn't meet code. We've had some falls. We've been very fortunate. We have not been sued, so I don't want to overplay that, but we have had some falls. Because please do me a favor, between now and April 23rd, walk up and down the stairs, because you'll see that as they turn the corner, they disappear.
Yes.
They literally
They're
disappear.
like pie-shaped.
And that's because there's not enough space. So when the building was built in the 1880s, there was no code requirements. It was just, let's try to get you from one floor to the other. You'll notice that there is a metal bar in front of the window, because it was designed there on purpose, because after you go around there, if you miss the stair and you fall,
You
we
go
don't
out
want
the
you going
window.
through the window,
Yeah.
instead you go into a railing. So, so with that said, we
That's a
did
big
not
jump.
bring that forward in that year, because if you recall, that was the COVID year. The Board of Selectmen were like, we've got to be a little bit careful with our expenditures. We did not move forward, and then when we received ARPA funds, we were able to use grant money through the ARPA program to do a feasibility study. So we have done a formal study, and we've had 4 or 5 iterations of it. And so the idea is to build that staircase now, so therefore it will meet code, it will have multiple landings, it'll be safer, there'll be more lights. Because we have to do engineering work there, it only makes sense to actually make the process better. So if you go around where the stairs are, you'll see that there's a utility closet up top, and there is literally about a 22-foot span that's just empty space. We have to redesign that structurally. So if we're gonna redesign that structurally, and add reinforcement, we're gonna be able to bring it out now and make that closet into either a bigger closet or a potential future office space if one is ever necessary. And then at the same time, to Jan's point, is that there is a door that says do not open, is because there is, behind that door is a half-capped staircase that goes to the Historical Commission's office that they can't use anymore, obviously for safety reasons. So we would love to be able to move the Historical Commission out to the Historical Barn, because that's where I would love to do it, but it doesn't meet ADA. We'd have to put an elevator there, it'd be way too expensive. So we want to be able to continue that use of that room. And then in order to do all this, we'll have to turn the bathrooms a little bit, because we have to gain some space, because when you use those stairs, you have to have multiple landings per current code. So that's why it becomes so expensive, because it's not just stairs. And because of the age of the building, it is more engineering to it. This is the estimated price through that engineer. So obviously it could be higher, it could be lower, there's contingencies, all that stuff. You know, like a normal construction project.
Is this the price back in COVID though?
No, this is,
Okay, it's
no,
updated.
this is 60 days old.
And then the school had a study, a feasibility study, that's what they're calling it, for the, secure entry, they call them sally ports.
Which
I did
school?
not know what a sally port
That
was.
was for Spring Street and for Roselle.
Yeah,
Both.
Not Howard,
Howard already
Yeah.
has
has one,
do they?
couple doors to get in.
yeah. The intercom apparently doesn't work, very well,
The Council
so
on Aging, too.
they feel like it's a safety thing, they can't really communicate well with the classrooms and things with their current intercom. The fire alarm panels need to be replaced. Paving is a sidewalk in front of the school, they said is deteriorated and dangerous, I guess it's not in good shape. The computers were for the computer lab and the STEM lab and some monitors. They said, I forgot how old, 2011?
No, they're original to the building,
Yeah.
2015.
2015, is the current computers, so they wanna replace them. And then,
What happened fast?
oh, the windows in the high school, they call them clear story windows, I'm not sure why, but the windows like, in the front of the building
In
are
the top.
leaking
Yeah,
in
the
different
top.
places depending on the way the wind's blowing when it's rain. So they wanna fix
Seal
those,
it.
seal them
Yeah.
up. Anything I missed, you guys?
Would that go to municipal needs?
If they wanted to be able to do it right now, they could. I don't know if we have $62,000 in there, but usually.
Where do you
Oh,
get
that's
62?
usually less.
42.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's,
Glasses.
now it's 42. You're right.
Look at it, went down already.
It did. Actually, $42,000 they do
Sorry.
have. So if they wanted to go to municipal needs, but then we would go to town meeting, we'd just have to replenish those funds, so.
What about that, that other fund that we talked about earlier that has money in it? Preservation. Doesn't qualify?
That wouldn't be
No.
a historical.
That wouldn't
No,
be-
none of them would.
It's not old enough to be historical.
Well, what
What about
about
this
some of
one?
the other ones
Yeah.
though?
Well,
I
no.
know, right?
I mean,
Yeah, what about here?
We're gonna look at that. I wanna get funding from the town, cause it's gonna take, we're gonna have to go out to bid and all that stuff, but if the town's willing to support it, we go out to bid, we get real numbers, we may be able to look at CPC to be able to dip into the historical portion of it and be able to offset some of the costs here.
Some of it, yeah, right?
Yeah, because I have to admit, just, you know, looking at that as I was thinking, it's like, that's the one that sticks on my head, like, I just.
That's a
don't-
lot.
Yes.
It's a lot.
The stairs.
A lot of money.
Look at, I've said this,
It's not gonna get any cheaper though.
Right,
it's a lot of money, And if people don't wanna do it, that's okay. But sooner or later, there'll be a,
You're gonna have to build a new town hall.
well, I mean, look, just walk the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you have to
Someone's
do.
gonna get hurt.
Is it required to have stairs there?
Someone's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get hurt.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
it's the
gotta do
other,
something.
it's the
Cost a hell of a
second
lot.
egress, right,
Yeah.
from the second
Yeah.
floor.
So in this price, and one reason why it's so expensive, is that we will have to build a temporary second stair system that goes outside the building, in the back of the building, because while there's construction, you can't use them.
Mm.
And by code, you can't
Gotta
just
have
have
two.
one.
Oh, just
Right.
put a slide in, it would be
Yeah,
so
there
much
you
fun.
go. If it's,
Well, you
yeah,
have that window
you'd
there.
use it if you had to. I
Of
would.
course I would.
So, yeah, this
No,
is
no.
just really
You're welcome.
informational at this point,
Yeah, I
like
love it.
David was saying, the capital budget subcommittee hasn't voted, the selectmen haven't voted, but we just wanted this group to be aware of what was coming forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much.
Welcome. So your next meeting, you'll be looking at the budget. I have done this every single year. I purposely do not I do not start to load it into my spreadsheet, so I have no idea where we're at, but I will tell you, I think this will be a more challenging year than we've had.
You do.
Yeah, because our retirement is up 8% again, which has been the same, but that number's bigger. This is our largest increase on health insurance, which is a very big line.
Snow, well, that's kinda this year, though.
Yeah, snow should be covered
Yeah.
this year, and, you
What
know,
about revenues, like coming in, do we
So
have an
I-
eye on that?
we do.
Yeah,
Right now, our receipts at this point are trending about even with last year,
okay,
so that part is good,
yeah,
but this budget goes up.
yeah,
So the receipts are definitely not going up to match it.
right,
And a lot of other municipalities have gone for an operational override recently and have failed.
yeah,
And so we didn't want to do that, and the board put out a hard no hiring, and obviously we have one department that's looking to hire a handful of people, and that's gonna add more to the
More
budget
than a
too.
handful,
So-
19's more than a handful.
So, we've gotta, that was why last night, that was a lengthy meeting with the board, because
Mm.
that was, I don't think anybody can argue about some of the needs. It's a matter of, can we fit it all in the budget, so,
mm,
we won't know yet, I've gotta put all the numbers in.
yeah.
Were we aware that we were asking for no hire?
I don't know if you were, but I know that,
I'm just curious, sometimes when we start, it's like, hey, we're gonna keep it flat, or no hire. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that's the first I've heard of it, so I wasn't really cognizant of it.
so we don't have any hires anywhere else.
Okay.
So,
Okay, anything else?
So when you say no hire, that means no hire,
What?
right?
No, it doesn't mean at all.
Just a suggestion, though.
It's more of a, a feeling.
Again, this came up last night, and I didn't think to duplicate everything that happened last night would have been fair, to go through the same questions and all that stuff, so I didn't, but, I would encourage people to watch the selectmen's meeting last night.
Yeah, we
I
went,
can
a couple of us
understand-
went, it was good.
I could understand Mark seemingly got a little bit frustrated or concerned, because he said, geez, why are you asking me about benefits, because we've not done that in the past, and he's right, because it's covered in another budget.
But shouldn't we?
So the reason it came up is because when the board said last night, we understand the Board of Selectmen is the personnel board. So nobody can hire somebody without selectmen's ratification and approval, except for the school committee. So when the selectmen make a decision to hire someone, they take into account not just the cost of the salary, but also the benefit. When the school does it, they only take into account the cost of the salary and not the benefit. And it's not their fault, that's by statute. They have the statutory right, without selectmen's ratification, to hire someone. So that is where the tension becomes, is that in times like this, it does impact the town side. And as the personnel board, they have no input on that. So when you ask the question, remember, the police department's a bottom line budget. So in theory, in the middle of the year, the police could say, like the school did, they could say, oh, we have an extra 80 grand, we're gonna go hire someone. But they can't, because the selectmen must ratify it. That doesn't happen with the school side. So that's where the difference comes in, and that's why last night there was the conversations about it does have an impact, not just on an annual basis for benefits, but also because when teachers retire, the town side pays for it, not the school does. So again, none of that has changed, none of that is different.
Do we have the option to put those costs in the school budget, or no?
No.
It has to stay the way it is.
Is that by statute, it has to stay the way it is, right?
I don't want to say yes or no. I am not aware of somebody that would not, but it's you. I don't think that you would want, because if you're going to do it for one department, you should do it for every department. So
Okay.
therefore, your health insurance should be in the police department, the fire department, the council on aging department. And then
That makes sense.
if you were to start to do that,
Yeah,
then you're not going to have any real singularly control over it.
yeah,
So
that
I
makes
think-
sense.
I
That
think you
makes
have to
sense.
have it consolidated in one. I'm not aware of anyone who has not done that.
Okay.
There was a lot of questions asked during the school budget meetings too.
Yeah,
If nobody's watched them, I'd highly advise you to go back and watch them.
It's
yeah,
on YouTube, right?
yeah. Yeah, more
Yeah, JP
information's
was
good.
JP was asking a question on every
Asking
line.
a lot of questions.
Last night,
No, I think he's talking about the
No, no, no.
school committee
During
one.
the
School committee meeting.
Preliminary
committee
budget
meeting.
meeting and then the final budget meeting, JP was asking a lot of questions. It's worth watching just to kind of get.
what were the dates on that?
3-2 and 3-9.
3-2 and 3-9.
It's good to have as much information as you can to make as an informed decision as you can. Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.